Wait, I want to be bigger than you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Warmest of welcomes. How have you all been? This administration has been administrating. Yes, I was quite thirsty. Shout out to Owala and my ex who put me on Owala. Shout out to anyone who drinks from Owala. Cool people, honest people, good people. Good people drink from Owala. That's what I believe. Um, Naomi, are you aware of what we're going to talk about today?
Yes,
What are we going to talk about today?
we're going to talk about cutting off parents or having estranged relationships. I I hope everyone in the chat is doing so well.
I had to turn off my air conditioner, so we're gonna have to do this stream quick because my air conditioner is right beside my streaming desk. Because I'm too lazy to move it like to the other side of the room. So this is just where it's gonna be. So that means the air conditioner is way too loud, in my opinion, for me to stream at the same time that the air is on, which is fine like 90% of the year, but it's not fine for the heat that we're having right now. It is absolutely not okay. So um I just ran it on full blast for like 20 minutes before we started. And I'm hoping that whatever temperature it's at right now, it's just going to have to hold. It's just going to have to hold. But our streams are pretty quick. I'm not going to keep you long, maybe like 30 minutes max. But welcome everyone. Be sure to leave a like on your way in. Spare change. Spare change. Never afraid to beg for some likes and subscribe. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you all in the chat. Um, Now, this is going to sound crazy, and this is unrelated to the topic at all. Um, and please don't think of me as like a crazy person for saying this. I just want to prime you in advance for the question. Was there a time where killer clowns were chasing people like sometime from 2012 to 2016?
Are you asking me the question?
I'm asking everyone the question. Was there a time where killer clowns were like out there and were like a real problem, like chasing people? I
Yeah.
feel like from the 2012 to 2016 area.
Yes.
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 Okay. Y'all could never mind. Forget I said anything.
Okay.
So before we discuss the main topic, another welcome to everyone who just came in. But there's something that I've been hearing about called voice memo guy. Um, I have not done like any type of meaningful research about him. I just listened to the voice memo and made my own opinion. So that's what we're gonna do now. Because I'm actually very confused. But pretty much, people are saying that this man wanted to have sex with a woman, so he let her know up front, which people really, really like. Like before coming out on a date, he let her know that he just wanted to sleep with her, and apparently, people are divided about whether or not this is like a masterclass in consent and a green flag, and he's a feminist icon, or if he just gross and disgusting. And I was confused about why there was a split. So I will play it and I will let y'all can make y'all decision. Y'all are grown. No need for me to put words in anyone's mouth. So I guess I'll just search a voice memo guy. All right. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. You motivated?
Motivated.
Are you motivated?
So motivated.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say motivated, motivated, downright dedicated. You check us out. You check us out. But
Yeah.
that's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so let me put this on the screen. I will play it in full.
I definitely think you are lovely.
Wait, oh, there's music on it. Hold up. Let me find one without the music. Why are people putting background music over it?
Can't hear you, Petty.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. I didn't realize my mic might not even be on.
Petty, nobody can hear you.
This cannot be the case.
I can't hear you talking.
Nope, just you. One person said they hear me.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's a you issue.
Can you hear
Okay.
me talking?
Yeah, I can hear you talking, but here, let me
I'm
type in the
gonna
chat.
exit the stream and come back.
Okay, she can't hear me anyway, so I should have just waved. While she does that, I'll go ahead and put this on the screen. I think this may be unedited.
This is the full voice memo.
However, I would love to, if we're going to go to your place on Thursday.
Wait, that has music on it too. Well, fair use or something.
I mean, I am looking to have that physical intimacy to see if, like, I am sexually compatible with you. So, like, if I'm going to come over, like, I would be hoping to, like, hook up, have sex, have a good time, have, like, that romantic spark and that physical spark there for my own sake, because it's hard for me to continue dating someone and seeing them if I don't know if I'm sexually compatible. So, I know you said I don't know about that. So, like, I guess my thing is like, what would be the point of me coming over then if we're not gonna like hook up and like cuddle and like be intimate with each other? And if that's what you don't want, that's fine. But like, I think we should just like end it here then, respectfully, just because first date, that's fine. Like, we want to get to know each other. I'm all about that. But like, I am looking to have that physical aspect there, and I don't want to continue seeing someone if I don't know if that's good, if that's not there or not. So up to you. Let me know. I'm happy to, if you do want me to come over, I'm happy to do so. I would love to have a good time, and we can have some wine, hang out, and chill. But if you're not trying to hook up, then like, I think we should just go our separate ways. Let me know.
So per my last video, if you are a woman who
Wait. We have to make our own opinions. We can't use hers. Okay, so I'm gonna make a poll while I talk so that you guys can vote, because we're about to watch someone who fully agrees with him. She says she's a feminist and blah blah blah. This is what consent looks like, and honesty, and so on and so forth. I will let you guys decide. Let me put it in the chat. Okay, so there's a poll. I'll be looking at the poll to see how you guys vote because I'm genuinely curious, because I only took that one type of way, and it wasn't as like a masterclass in consent.
believes this is honest, non-coercive communication, I am not here to tell you that you're wrong, baby girl. And if you are a man who believes that this is honest, straightforward communication leading to consent, I am also not here to tell you that you're wrong. But I do hope you always find the women that agree with you, because if you don't, you could find yourself on the other end of some allegations and some charges. I am Ashley with an I, bringing you news on days that end in Y. This is the
Days that end in Y, but that's all of them. Okay, so let me see if I can find the original lady who commented on it. And her name is... There's too much discourse on it. Like, it's too many people clouding the feed. Give me two seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Here, let me put on some whole music for you guys. Never mind, this whole music is terrible. Y'all, I literally cannot pull up the original video. Like, everybody is talking about it, but nobody is mentioning the name of the creator. Like, I'm trying to find this lady's video. Go the auntie. Goth auntie. Girl, I don't think that's who I'm looking for. Please, does somebody know this lady's name? Coercion. Some people were saying it's Coercion. Appreciate him not wasting her time. Had nothing to do with consent. He was being manipulative by using sex as his standard for him to spend more time with her and truly know if he likes her.
This is
Girl, where is this lady?
what consent looks like, y'all.
No, baby.
If I just knew her name, I could go to her page. Or if someone was stitching her, I could go to her page. But nobody is stitching her and nobody is naming her, which is wild to me. Oh, Cat Black made something. Okay, while we wait. I'm always down for some Cat Black.
The takes a lot of you guys have about the voice memo guy are genuinely starting to piss me off, because listen to the very, very, very first part of the voicemail. I want you to stop listening to these content creators, and I want you to actually listen to the voicemail. The voicemail starts with, "Hey, I had a good time tonight." Further into the voicemail, he says, "I know you're not sure about that," in reference to sex. Meaning that same night, she communicated to him that she was not interested in sex. Yes, I think it's fine that he is clear about his intentions and gives her the opportunity to decide. And I know why so many of you think that that's like an okay, reasonable thing. And he said it in this like nice language that many of you have, been told is good, right? But you need to recognize that he sent this message the first night they met. And if you're imagining that he did that just to, affirm, what was going to actually happen on the second date, you, beloved, you are naive. You are naive. It's clear that he wanted the first date to end with sex. You can even tell by the way he describes going out on a first date and getting to know each other as like, okay, it's fine that we did that he's not really particularly interested in doing that, right? I want you to understand that this is what men say to like women that they know are somewhat insecure.
Okay, I found the video in question that I was looking for. Do you guys want to finish Cat Black, or do you want to go straight to this lady with a really, really long, forgettable name? Going once, going twice. Oh, some of y'all just got in here, so you didn't hear the voicemail. Let's do a quick refresher for people who just got here. I'll put it on like 1.5.
Had a good time tonight. Definitely think you are lovely. However, I would love to, if we're gonna go to your place on Thursday, I mean, I am looking to have that physical intimacy to see if like I am sexually compatible with you. So like if I'm gonna come over, like I would be hoping to like hook up, have sex, have a good time, have like that romantic spark and that physical spark there for my own sake, because it's hard for me to continue dating someone and seeing them if I don't know if I'm sexually compatible. So I know you said I don't know about that. So like, I guess my thing is like, what would be the point of me coming over then if we're not gonna like hook up and like cuddle and like be intimate with each other? And if that's what you don't want, that's fine. But like, I think we should just like end it here then, respectfully, just because first date, it's fine. Like, you want to get to know each other, I'm all about that. But like, I am looking to have that physical aspect there, and I don't want to continue seeing someone if I don't know if that's good, if that's not there or not. So up to you. Let me know. I'm happy to, if you do want me to come over, I'm happy to do so. Would love to have a good time, and we can have some wine, hang out, and chill. But if you're not trying to hook up, then like I think we should just go our separate ways. Let me know. Had a good time tonight. Definitely think you are lovely. However,
Naomi, why are you twice? You're on mute.
Can you exit me out? I thought I did. I thought I exited the chat for the live stream.
Okay, I kicked second you. So for people who just came in, that is the voice memo in question that's being discussed. It looks like y'all say y'all want Kat to finish.
And have like wishy-washy boundaries, right? Tell by the way he describes going out on a first date and getting to know each other as like, okay, it's fine that we did that he's not really particularly interested in doing that, right? I want you to understand that this is what men say to like women that they know are somewhat insecure and have like wishy-washy boundaries, right? He was expecting for her to change her mind. If she said on a first date that she did not want to have sex with him, why are you guys imagining that it's possible, or it's a reasonable answer for her to say, okay, yes, after this first date, the same night when I've already said no to you, that she's confident about having sex on a second date, right? Also, I want you to understand that consent is revocable, right? So even if she responded and said, yes, I'm open to it, that still doesn't actually mean that she is going to always be open to it. He would have to then affirm on that second date that what she said before was actually what she meant, right? And you guys have to recognize that more likely than him wanting to, be good about consent, he left that date sexually frustrated and wanted to make sure that the second one didn't end that way. And if you listen to the voicemail, like go through it, it starts really nice, kinda, and it kind of gets in a way meaner even as the language gets nicer, right? It's me, I, da-da-da-da, and essentially I'm not gonna show up if we're not gonna fuck on the second date. Do you think that that's the attitude of a person who has any interest in getting to know her? She clearly doesn't want to have sex like that. She clearly would like to get to know the person that she's having sex with. I know some of you guys don't like that. I get it. But there are women who do like to know who they're having sex with, right? It's baffling because so many women are on here saying that everything that he said is A-okay. And it stands out to me that we're also having a conversation about Graham Plantner. And it's also coming on here and saying that what happened wasn't that big of a deal. I want you guys to understand that this is rape culture, right? This is rape culture. All of what we're doing right now, this is rape culture. And what I mean by that is we are creating a circumstance now for which a woman no longer has the right to say no, right? Like she said no. She was clear about not wanting to have sex with him. And then the same night, he calls her and tries to confirm and makes it clear that he's going to be upset if the second date happens and it doesn't end with sex. I think what he should have done instead of sending a voicemail would have been to accept that she wasn't on the same page as him. And maybe they went on one date and it was a nice date, but that doesn't mean you have to continue. They want separate things. They don't want the same thing. They don't share the same vision of the relationship. That's a very, very good reason to move on to someone else, to something else. But he wants her to change her mind. And he asks her this question on the same night when she's already denied him. People are saying, oh, everyone's filling in the blanks and stuff. But no, maybe maybe it's because I'm used to doing this, but listen to the fucking voicemail. Everything I'm saying, you could get from the voicemail. Listen to what he's saying, how he's saying it, the frequency of when he's saying it, and the literal words that he's saying. So many people I've seen talk about this are describing it as like them going on several dates and him wanting to finally broach the subject of sex. That's not what happened. Again, the voicemail starts with, I had a good time tonight. So the same night they went on their first date, the same night they met, he's calling to confirm that she's open to doing it on the second time. And he's underlining that he will be upset and frustrated and it will be a waste of his time if he shows up to the second date and she doesn't fuck him. All of that you could get from the voicemail. And honestly, there's a part of me that's getting concerned a little bit because you guys genuinely, and I hope this doesn't sound a certain way. This is like a literacy thing, if I'm being frank with you. Part of literacy is also understanding like subtext, right? Yes, if you look at his words literally, he's asking for consent. If you recognize the circumstance that they exist within, you understand that he's not really respecting her consent, right?
I was on mute. Why did she invite him over if she didn't want to have sex? I forgot, but I was going to post the link for people to come up, so I'll do that now. If you wanted to come up, you could. So I'll pin that in the chat. I'll try to pin it in the chat. I guess I won't pin it in the chat. Oh, okay, it's pinned. It just looks really weird on my screen. So the link to join is pinned if you wanted to come up, because I did see some people in the poll say that most people said that she was right, he was wrong. A decent amount of people said both were right, which interests me. So I would like to talk to those people if you voted for that. And 5% of people said both were wrong, which also confuses me.
If he wanted to have sex and she already communicated, hey, I'm not really into that, or I don't know about that, he should probably be able to piece together that she doesn't want to fuck him on a first or a second date, right? He should probably not even broach that subject literally within seemingly an hour of the date ending on the same night where he already propositioned her. This is how people are going to take advantage of you. And I mean this genuinely. People, there's a layer of people that know that you don't understand subtext, right? Genuinely. And they're relying on you looking at the literal words instead of hearing what's actually being said. This is not a voice memo of a man that really respects her. It's a voicemail of someone that wants her to change her mind. That's why people are saying that it's coercive, even if he didn't physically coerce her into anything. She already made it clear that she wasn't interested, and he's trying to get her to affirm that he will end the second date sexually satisfied. Please learn to read between the lines. It will save your life. To take some.
I mean, were there really lines to read between? I feel like the lines were right in front of us, immediately available. Malion, the Sapphire Princess. Welcome.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? It's good seeing you again.
I'm well. Nice to see you all. Now, you said you completely agree with him and you think she was wrong.
Oh, no. I just wanted to talk shit.
Oh.
Yeah. I completely disagree with everybody who's saying that he's right. Because this is a common tactic that a whole bunch of weirdos use to get especially younger women to have sexual intercourse with them. And I guess from for Kat, she's saying people with self-esteem issues. I think that he felt like he understood that he could take advantage of her, even though she already said no. And I feel like he should have just left it at that. I feel like what he wants is a one-time wham bam thank you ma'am, whereas she's looking for something else. He understands that, but he wants to cross her boundaries.
You don't think he just wants to see if they're sexually compatible, he said?
No.
What is on
that's
sex?
not.
I'm not like don't have sex. Like, what is sexual compatibility? If you could explain it to me, please.
So I'm gonna look this up, but
oh well,
sexual compatibility, I guess, is when people are able, they feel comfortable enough, or I don't know how that works.
It feels like he wants to have sex. Like, it feels like he wants to have sex.
Yeah, he just wants to have sex, and and I don't understand what sexual compatibility is, because I feel like if you like somebody enough, you can be. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. You can continue.
Like, I agree. Like, I just think that he just wants to. I just think he wants to be a hoe, and he wants her to be okay with, him using her, and that's my opinion.
There's also, why is there never like someone who wants to see if we're hold hands compatible? Or hugging compatible.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the first date. I'm so sorry. The first date, I don't even feel comfortable enough to sit next to people. Like,
I didn't even realize this was the same day as the first date. I knew it was only after one date, but I didn't realize this is literally the same. Like, you've already asked, to which she declined, and now you're giving an ultimatum.
Yeah, like in the middle of the night type situation. And I think that's so freaking weird. I honestly think that's such weirdo behavior. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's different for everybody else, but for me, I have a hard time being in close proximity and touching and hugging people that I've never met before. Like, it would take at least like 3 to 4 weeks of me knowing somebody to even really sit next to them, like the idea that on the first night of meeting this person, they're going to send me that message, to me, that's a threat. Yeah.
If it's a threat to you, it's a threat to me. Sally, thank you for your piece. Sally earlier said, right. Oh, excuse me. Oops, that is the wrong comment. Oof. Why did she invite him over if she didn't want to have sex? I'm not sure if this was a genuine question or sarcasm or whatever it was, but maybe to like hang out or watch TV or talk.
Or to get to know somebody more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the same reason you might go to dinner with someone or go to the movies or
go out on a date.
Yeah.
Like people have dates at their homes. Like, it's not really, I think it might be because all my friend groups are generally autistic. But we have friend group like dates or whatever, or we just have regular dates at our houses. Somebody does their house or whatever, and we just do the do. It's not really. I don't think having a date at your house is very serious. Yeah, and it's a safe space for you.
there's like a implication about what expectations should be reasonable if you're inviting someone on to your house. That implies that people are going to have sex, in which case if you're inviting him over to your house and you're not offering sex, then why would you invite him to your house? But I don't believe that the two are attached. Naomi, did you want to say anything before we go to the lady whose opinion I didn't like? Going once.
Yeah, I agree. Like maybe
you agree with him?
No, you with what you were saying. Like maybe sorry, I'm tending to a toddler. Maybe she just wanted to hang out, like have a conversation, not exactly to have sex. That shouldn't have been. That should not be. Yes.
Wait, what did you think about his voice note?
Oh, his voice note was definitely creepy. That's weird. After the first date and you're like wanting to know if you can have sex with me or not.
Same night.
Like, what about like dinner, movie?
No, they already had dinner movie earlier that day when he asked her to have sex and she declined. And then he asked again later.
But she doesn't know him from a can of paint.
That's
weird. But like he can't get to know her without like sex first.
He asked
to
her
see if they're compatible. Sorry.
He asked her twice, like in person and then through the voicemail.
Yeah, so he asked her in person first. She said no. And then that same night after they had finished the date and she went home, he sent her a voice note or a voicemail.
Blocked after the first asking of whether or not we can have sex, and I don't even know you.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's weirdo behavior.
A little bit weirdo. Like I know some of my friends who are more like in hookup culture, like that's their thing. Like, and my friends are female or girls, and she tells them through like the dating website, like, hey, like I just want to have sex. I don't want anything else. So I don't know. I guess it goes both ways though.
But I feel like if he had said that, right? Like
prior to the first date.
Yeah, prior to the first date. I feel like it would like if somebody
she
were
might
to
not
tell
have gone
me
on the
prior
date
to the,
with him.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what
I see
what
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because I don't think if somebody were to say that to me and that's not what I was looking for, I just wouldn't go on the date. Personally.
Right.
And if they asked me during the date, I would feel that, you know? Like,
that's a bit bold.
Yeah, like bold. I don't think he said it to her in text message at all before the date, in my opinion. I think he sprung it on her while they were out and about, or he tried to be intimate while they were out and about. And this is just me making speculations, allegedly. But and she felt uncomfortable and she went home, and then like he sent her that message again to reiterate that that's what he wants.
Right. Yeah. That's weird.
All right. We're aligned. Y'all ready to get out of line? Okay, let's do it.
It went viral last week of a girl that got a voice note from a guy that she was dating, and he was basically saying, hey, if we're going to continue hanging out, I just want you to know that I am seeking a sexual connection, and if you don't want to explore a sexual connection, then we should probably just end this now, because a sexual connection is a priority to me. And this was presented as a negative thing, and the comments were littered with...
Wait, is that what he's... Hold up.
Had a good time tonight. I think you are lovely. However, I would love to, if we're going to go to your place on Thursday, I mean, I am looking to have that physical intimacy to see if, like, I am sexually compatible with you. So, like, if I'm going to come over, like, I would be hoping to, like, hook up, have sex, have a good time, have, like, that romantic spark and that physical spark there for my own sake, because it's hard for me to continue dating someone and seeing them if I don't know if I'm sexually compatible. So, I know you said I don't know about that. So, like, I guess my thing is like, what would be the point of me coming over then if we're not gonna like hook up and like cuddle and like?
Oh, okay. I just wanted a quick refresher. Let me go back.
This feels distinctly different from what she's saying.
A video went viral last week of a girl that got a voice note from a guy that she was dating, and he was basically saying, hey, if we're going to continue hanging out, I just want you to know that I am seeking a sexual connection. And if you don't want to explore a sexual connection, then we should probably just end this now because a sexual connection is a priority to me. And this was
Wait, I don't feel like that's what he said. I feel like
That's
he
not
said,
what he
what's
said.
the reason for, what's the point of me coming over to your house if I'm not having sex with you?
Yeah, like
Or
I don't
something
understand
like
her
that.
thought process. Yeah, that's literally what he said though. Like, so she's changing it a little bit to like, I don't know, soften the blow of what he's saying.
Yeah, why is she like changing it? Like the details about what he said. Oh my God, this man just said like, hey, I'm interested in having sex a little early into the relationship. And if you don't want to, that's fine. And we can go. Like she was making it seem more reasonable than I feel like the voicemail was.
Yeah.
And this was presented.
But even so, I don't even think what she's saying. I don't like
it as a negative thing, and the comments were littered with people saying men aren't lonely enough, etc., etc. And I was sitting there thinking, this is what consent looks like, y'all. Like we
wait.
Negative. This was presented as a negative thing, and the comments were littered with people saying men aren't lonely enough, etc.
Wait, I thought it was presented negatively, not because like, or let me hear her case actually.
Etc. And I was sitting there thinking, this is what consent looks like, y'all. Like we discuss the concept of consent so much, but I don't think people actually understand what it looks like. And that voice note is what consent looks like.
To be clear, consent is not you make an obligation to me or a commitment to have sex with me the next time I come over to your house or I'm not coming.
Yeah, like there's an or else. I feel like anything that has an or else is not really consent, it's coercion. Like it doesn't make sense. Like I her take doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if she just didn't listen to the voice note, but the way she's describing it is not the way that I hear the voice note, unless that's the way she hears it.
I agree. Like if he had to ask a second time through voicemail, I do feel like that's coercion at this point because she already said no the first time.
Yeah, consent apparently to her looks like on the first date, yeah, let's have sex. Oh, you don't want to? Got it. Later the same day, yeah, let's have, if you don't want to have sex, I don't want to date you. So let's have sex after you just said no earlier. Apparently to her, this is consent when a woman declines your invitation to have sex, and so you push even more and give an ultimatum. That's a master class, not just what consent looks like. She said a master class in consent.
That's a master manipulator. I'm sorry.
Comments were littered with people saying men aren't lonely enough, etc., etc. And I was sitting there thinking, this is what consent looks like, y'all. Like we discuss the concept of consent so much, but I don't think people actually understand what it looks like. And that voice note is what consent looks like. It is blunt. It is raw. It is obvious. And that guy gave the girl a chance to be like, oh.
Being blunt, by the way, does not require cruelness. Someone saying you are not worth my time unless I'm able to stick my wee-wee in you and see if I nut is not like a masterclass in consent and someone that we should uphold as a green flag. And that is something that people can be upset about. We do live in a patriarchy where women are reduced to their body. Someone saying you're not worth my time unless I can use your body and you need to promise me consent in advance is not like a masterclass in consent. No idea what she's talking about.
It's giving me your kuda mama or else. I don't know. Like to me, that sounds like a threat, first of all. And I don't understand what she's saying, honestly. It feels very confusing to me.
There's also like the way she's fawning over him. It seems unusual to me. Like this is what consent looks like. It's raw, it's real. Huh?
Arrested Development.
Like raw doesn't cancel disrespect.
It's blunt, but it looks like, and that voice note is what consent looks like. It is blunt. It is raw. It is obvious. And that guy gave the girl a chance to be like, oh, okay, this is moving too quickly for me. And that's not how I want to conduct us dating right now.
No, he didn't give her the chance to say this is moving too quickly. As he said in the voice note, she already told him this is moving too quickly earlier that day and that she does not feel comfortable having sex. he waited 2.5 hour apparently and asked her again. Like, this is not giving her the option to decline. This is after her declining, pestering her more, and then offering an ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
It is obvious. And that guy gave the girl.
I kind of find this concerning, because I think if this is how people view consent, then it's kind of concerning to me personally. I kind of find it a little bit scary, because if we're talking about somebody who already said no before, which means they already expressed their opinion on it, right? And then to have the same person ask them again, it's not really him being blunt or whatever. Being blunt would be like in the first message, hey, I'm only looking for a sexual relationship. If that's not what you're looking for, like, we can go our separate ways. To me, that would make sense in the first message, and especially if he didn't pursue further after she had said that, or if, like, that would just make sense to me. Whereas this is somebody that went on a full-blown date with somebody, asked them in person, and then sent them a voice note after they had already said they didn't want to do it. This is like somebody trying to convince, well, it's not like, but this is somebody trying to convince somebody that has already said they don't consent to that type of thing, and this is them trying to convince that person by giving them I forget what it's called in English. Oh my god, what is that? What is the word? Yeah, like,
do this or else.
Yeah, like it feels like it's also like some people ingratiate themselves. I feel like this is I've experienced people like this where they would ingratiate themselves on a date, basically try to be like all normal and cool and whatever. They ask you the question, you're like no, and then they text you later on and the same kind of thing. And because they've had a date with you and they feel like they're that you like them a little bit, that this would be something that's okay to say to somebody, which subsequently I usually generally like block these people. But this is also a tactic that works for people who are that person with the chopped bangs. Like, I feel like they shouldn't be taken advantage of, even if they don't have I don't want to say mean. I don't want to say something mean. Even if they don't have the mental wherewithal to understand that this is coercion.
Okay. I was looking for a different word than mental wherewithal, but it ain't coming, so.
Like, I was looking for a different word too, but that's what I came up with. I don't want to say anything mean about her. I already said something about her bangs.
It is blunt. It is raw. It is obvious. And that guy gave the girl a chance to be like, oh, okay, this is moving too quickly for me, and that's not how I want to conduct us dating right now. It should be that fucking easy. Consent, especially sexual consent, should be blunt. This is a great opportunity.
Again, I feel like she's confusing what I view as like cruelty and disrespectful and reductive to bluntness.
Mm-hmm.
It went in his profile. Hey, I'm not only interested in sex, but just to let you guys know, I want to have sex like first, second date, or I don't want to continue relationships because it's really important for me to see that I'm sexually compatible. What is sexually compatible? We still don't know.
Like, this is insane.
Y'all, I'm not in the bedroom with men. What are they doing in the bedroom to where they need to see about sexual compatibility? I legitimately don't understand. What are they doing? Because I feel like he's just going to put his wee-wee in and do the same motion the other 4 billion men on Earth going to do. I'm trying to see, like, what is the sexual compatibility he's looking for.
Somebody who's not a virgin has to come up here and say something.
Yeah, because y'all know I'm not tainted. I'm pure.
For y'all to increase your sexual education a little bit. I am 37 years.
It's also like, I hate people who are being condescending and wrong, because what do you mean we need to increase our sexual education because you believe that when you tell a man no and he continues to pester you and then give you ultimatum to have sex because you're not worth his time unless he gets to use your body like a fleshlight at least on the first or second date. This is
Isn't
a
that so
masterclass in
odd?
consent after you said no, and I ask again, but this time with some pressure.
It's insane. I feel like there's a lack of understanding that she doesn't have. That's concerning. I don't know how old she is. She looks about I don't know if she's a white 25 or a real 30. But like I feel like this like what she's saying seems a little bit underdeveloped.
I went to her page to see who this person is or how old she is or something so I can build a profile. Oh, they are in her comments. She turned the comments off, which I hate because I love being in the comments. Oh, she's 37 years old.
I've done
She's
a lot of
37?
dating and a lot of sleeping around, and I have
She
faced
looks
a lot
close
of
to her
sexual
40s,
abuse
so I
and
assumed she was like a white 25.
a great opportunity for y'all to increase your sexual education a little bit. I am 37 years old. I have done a lot of dating and a lot of sleeping around, and I have faced a lot of sexual abuse and trauma because these conversations were not held beforehand. I think it's admirable. And I think that if you are unwilling to have...
Okay, let's talk about what's admirable. Hey, I'm interested in having sex pretty early on. Wanted to put that on my profile because I know a lot of women don't like that. So I wanted to be straightforward. Or, hey, I really enjoyed our day. I think I'd like to move the relationship forward fast as far as sexual. Not like, hey, I don't really see the value in coming over to your house, talking to you, getting to know you if I'm not going to be sticking my wiener in you. There's also like she mentions sexual abuse, terrible, hate that. The idea that you look to a man who reduces you to an object that he needs to use in order to see if he's compatible with you before he can continue on to other unimportant, less important things like charisma and chemistry and personality and intelligence and all that stuff that you have to evaluate in a relationship. The concept of someone like that telling you about how little they value you and your time and building a relationship with you if it's not involving your body up front immediately, by the way, on date one, he said, and now this is same day before date two, and him telling you that and you believe that this is like admirable screams you have been treated poorly. Understood. Don't know this woman, don't know her past at all, by the way. You have been treated poorly, and to you, a man who has been secretly in a relationship with you seemingly, while in reality only interested in using you for your body, very common thing that happens to a lot of people, not shaming her for, to women in particular, not shaming her for it. The idea that that same type of person who reduces you to a sexual object is admirable if they let you know you're a sexual object to them beforehand screams unusual to me.
It's very unusual. I'm gonna tell you guys one of my dating times stories and a reaction that I had from somebody that was close to me at the time that we are no longer close. I was dating like this was like I think my I was doing a oh my god. I was doing a medical, interpretation certificate program or whatever. And at the time, I started dating a person that was very, very, very extremely wealthy. I'll just say that they own several businesses across several different countries. And I remember when we first started the date, everything was pretty cool. Like she'd met them, I'd met them. Obviously, I'd met them, and she thought he was an awesome person. And there was a little thing that happened where he sent me stuff, and he wanted me, like, it was just regular, it was dresses sold by his company. And his mom had sent me the dresses, and I guess he wanted the pictures of me in those dresses. I didn't have time to take pictures during that week, and he ended up yelling at me. Like, he was just like, "Oh, I sent them to you." Da, 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 da. I did, like, he was just like, he went off on me, because I, like, after a whole week, I was just like, I was still like, no, I don't want to take the time to take pictures and do all of that, because I'm not that type of person. First of all, I'm not like, oh, somebody got me something, let me take a picture of it. And so why, when we get into an argument and I break up with him, why does my friend tell me that's all he did and you broke up with him? Like, after I explained to her that he was like yelling at me and everything, and I was just like, dude, I don't like people yelling at me. I think that's insane. And she was like, well, he was just talking to you and he was just trying to get you to understand, and it took you 2 whole weeks to try to send the pictures and da 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 da. And I'm just like, I don't care if it took me a whole year to send the picture. He shouldn't be yelling at me. And that's what it's giving. Like, people are just used to abuse.
It is. I have some stories, not about me, about my friends, but I won't tell them because I ain't got permission.
I think that's what that video is giving as well. It's like she mentioned she's been sexually assaulted, sexually abused, but yet she's agreeing with somebody who's trying to sexually coerce somebody else.
Well, if the bar is this low, right, to where a man telling you he's only interested in your ability to be a fleshlight for him, and he's not interested in anything past that in regards to you or your humanity, unless he can use you first like that. If that's the bar for what a masterclass, she says, an admirable man who gives a masterclass in consent, continuing to push you for consent in advance, by the way. Remember, consent is when you promise your body to someone in advance, not like something that happens during sex can be revoked at any time. No, consent is like something that you give apparently over the course of Memo, in advance of sex that you already said you were uncomfortable with. But if the bar is this low to where that's what she finds admirable, I hate to see what she finds degenerate. I hate it. I hate to think of what she might find degenerate. If she thinks that was not only acceptable, but like the pinnacle.
I feel like her bar is in hell.
Indica says, I'd rather agree. Indica says, I'd rather a man be straightforward than pretend. Understood, agree. That does not mean, I'm not saying you are saying this, by the way, but that does not mean his behavior is acceptable. And that certainly doesn't mean I'm about to call a man admirable in a masterclass in consent because he did something like say, I only want to use you for your body, just being straight up.
I also feel like if he was going to be straightforward, like he should have said it in the first date when he already said it, right? She said no. He should have either stopped her, he should have either stopped right there, or been on her level, to be honest. Like, I honestly believe that he wanted, I honestly believe that he wanted to manipulate her into having sex. This is not man being straightforward. If he was being straightforward, he would have already left after she had already said that's not what she's interested in.
Oh yeah, he's not being straightforward because I have a theory about sexual compatibility that I have not developed yet, not researched, no statistic or data.
I think any man who says it is a bold-faced liar.
I agree. I think I want to see if we're sexually compatible. From men specifically, it seems like I want to put my wiener in you. But let me see if I can find this orgasm gap research real quick. Because men are not doing tricks. They're not doing flips. And no, they're not doing that. Let me see. Data of sexual behavior indicates that very few women, less than 30%, reach orgasm during mixed-sex sexual activity, whereas men, over 90%, usually do. During partnered sexual encounters, rate of orgasm for men do not vary based on one's sexual orientation, though lesbians or women who have sex with women report significantly higher rates of orgasm, up to 83%, than those who have sex with men. This variance amongst women is influenced by prioritization of some words that I can't say because of YouTube guideline, but just know they ringing that doorbell at the top of the door. Why is it at the top of the door? Don't know. Bad analogy. It's been determined for women. Okay, we don't have to read about the anatomy part. I'm pretty sure y'all know what those parts are and which parts feel good. So there's a certain indication that the research gives to me, right? Based on my interpretation of the research, I'll say that men are not having a difficult time orgasming during heterosexual sex specifically. Women are having a very difficult time, apparently, having fun during sex, it seems like. Unless y'all don't measure your sex by orgasm, in which case, period. But anywho, so there's nothing that I have seen, like not even just anecdotally, but from a statistical perspective, that indicates to me that men have any real need to see if they are quote unquote sexually compatible with someone.
And how did you find out how sexually compatible you are with somebody on the first day?
Will she let
You
me
know what I
have
mean?
sex with her even though she said no first if I pressure her some more or something?
Like,
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like you have to know somebody. I don't know if this might just be because I'm demisexual, but I don't think personally that you would know that you're compatible with somebody on the first like date or first time you're like, I don't know. I feel like there has to be discussions that happen beforehand, unless I'm the crazy one.
I feel like I talked about this earlier to someone. I feel like if the quote unquote vibe is not there, like before you have sex with someone, I feel like you'll usually have chemistry and connection there. You'll know if you're physically attracted to someone prior to spam in the comments. Hold up. Oh, it won't let me block him. Well, I think it's on Twitch, so that's not relevant for YouTube people. But so yeah, there's chemistry beforehand, and I feel like you'll generally know if you have like sexual, physical interest in someone as well as chemistry or tension, physically or sexually rather. And in that case, consent would be like a formality, right? Like if you're leaning in to kiss someone who you've been holding and the natural inclination of things seems like you're going to kiss, and you stop and say like, is it okay if I kiss you? This seems like something that you're doing as a formality to be sure that the vibe that you both feel is like the actual thing that's happening and you're not misinterpreting it. If y'all are sitting watching a movie together and y'all just sat down 1 minute ago, never met each other, and as soon as the movie starts, he look at you and say, hey, can I kiss you? Do I have consent to kiss you? This seems like this seems like you're asking that you feel a need to ask for consent. I feel like is an indication that the vibe is not there, as opposed to you are asking for consent to be sure that something's okay. It feels like you're asking for like permission. I don't know how to differentiate what I'm talking about, but those are my thoughts. Like the fact that you have to ask someone, and then she already declined in this particular instance, but the fact that you have to ask someone.
She already said the vibes are not there. And he was like, oh wait, but maybe if I wait 2 hours, the vibes will be there.
Yeah, okay. So this is what I'm saying. Ask for consent even if the vibes are there. Agreed. I believe that's what generally would be happening. Asking for consent because the vibes are not there is what I feel like is happening with him. And then like even if the vibes are there, if somebody say, hey, just want to let you know, like there's no reason to come over your house if we're not having sex, so just wanted to confirm, I feel like the vibe gone.
Yeah, I also feel like he already knows.
Well, not anymore. Sorry.
Sorry. I also feel like he knows that she doesn't feel it, like that she doesn't want to do it with him, or that like she doesn't feel comfortable enough with him. Like he found out during the date, and then he is basically trying to push her. Sorry, I just saw the comment. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. I did not mean to put that on screen. I'll get to that in a second, but you can finish. My apologies.
Okay. So
and then we can finish our video quickly and give our last comment so we can get to the actual topic.
Yeah, like I feel like he knew the entire time that she felt uncomfortable, that she like that the vibes weren't there, and he was sending that message to just threaten her. I feel like that message is nothing but a threat, in my opinion.
A threat. Sex from a man is a threat, I believe. Indica said she's a pegger. Now, let me make something clear. I think I discussed this with someone earlier as well offline. If you have a certain fetish or kink that you believe is not reasonably a part of, I don't know, contemporary sex, like you believe that because my fetish involves a ceiling fan, a robot, the couch, a pool, certain liquids being poured in certain areas, or mouth being near areas where they're usually not. Like if you feel like you have a extreme fetish, or even something that's just out of the norm, and you want to inform someone to see, because that's an important part of sex to you, to see about compatibility prior to like investing in someone, understood. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's why men are asking to see about sexual compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could have said it certainly wouldn't be, hey, I want to see if we're sexually compatible tonight. It would be very specific. Hey, I like to be stepped on. I just wanted to know, like, I can't without that. So I wanted to know in advance, because I know that's like not a normal thing for people to do during sex. So like if that's not something that you're comfortable with, then I don't know that we could take this. It's certainly not going to be, hey, a vague, I just want to see if we're compatible sexually tonight.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because I didn't even really think about the kink aspect. That could be something that he should, like. I feel like if he wanted to know if they were compatible because of kinks, that would be a conversation that would happen outside of them being in the midst of sex. Like I feel like he just wanted regular whatever.
Agreed. Now let's get this bread, as they say.
Upfront and blunt conversations, I think it's admirable.
Wait,
And I
should
think
we
if
be
you are
SEX
unwilling to have
What's that? Sorry.
I was saying the SEX word. Should we be saying that, or should we be blurring that for YouTube purposes?
What's the X word?
The SEX.
Oh, I don't
spelling it.
care. We grown.
Okay.
I can't be saying grape 40 times a
because
stream.
they're sleeping around, and I have faced a lot of sexual abuse and trauma because these conversations were not held beforehand. I think it's admirable. I think it's admirable. And I think that if you are unwilling to have upfront and blunt conversations about your sexual health and your sexual expectations with someone that you are likely eventually going to have sex with, then you probably shouldn't be dating anyone at all. Y'all need to learn how to communicate, and you need to...
Wait, what did she say? I was looking at Murder Magic Tricks got pulled over. Well, let us know what happened, and let us make sure you're safe.
Health and your sexual expectations with someone that you are beforehand. I think it's admirable. I think it's admirable. And I think that if you are unwilling to have upfront and blunt conversations about your sexual health and your sexual expectations with...
Sexual health? When did they talk about using condoms or protection or birth control or
I think she's just talking about the act of
testing?
speaking about what he was expecting. She sees that as sexual.
She says, okay, got it. So we're just misaligned. I thought she was like, hey, matter of fact, wait, did he say in the voicemail, hey, just want to let you know I've been tested for STDs, by the way, and want to make sure you've been tested as well because I'm interested in having sex tonight? Nope.
That's a red flag.
Just
you know why that's a red
it.
flag?
Dipping it and doing it.
It's a red flag because, okay. It's a red flag because the only times I know of men really getting tested is when they've been intimate with somebody outside of their partner and their partner catches something from them, like their monogamous partner catches something and then they get tested themselves. Men generally don't take care of their health unless there is a woman in their life that cares about that, and generally that's a person that they're in a relationship with.
She said sexual health. I know you said no earlier, but please, sexual health, a masterclass. No mention of any type of testing that they've done to see if they gonna give each other anything, exchange anything other than numbers. Nothing like
I mean,
that.
if he's trying to do somebody on the first day, and then
you know he doing that with everybody too.
like that's so weird. Like,
this a masterclass in consent and sexual health, but we didn't hear anything about protection. We didn't hear anything about in this administration where people getting pregnant with no option, and we ain't hear nothing about it.
Wasn't there a guy, I don't remember what his name is, but he's like big in the hip hop space, where it was a white guy who was just spreading HIV to people. That's the vibe that this guy is giving.
My God. I was getting average man from him, but like actually they kind of overlap.
And I think that if you are unwilling to have upfront and blunt conversations about your sexual health and your sexual expectations with someone that you are likely eventually going to have sex with, then you probably shouldn't be dating anyone at all. Y'all need to learn how to communicate, and you need to understand that the more directly and bluntly you communicate with other people, the better your fucking relationships will be.
Yeah, I'm not. Why should I come to your house? What reason is there if we're not having sex? This is improving our relationship because of how honest I'm being. A masterclass.
That's crazy. Imagine expecting to date somebody and the only thing you want to discuss within the first day, the first day is just straight up sex. And then it's not even just getting to know you, getting to know what kind of diseases you might have. Because I think for me, because I've worked in the healthcare field, I'm terrified of most people's, and I would like to know what you have. And that's insane of her to say that it's healthy for him to be saying these things, because I think she's either I think she's either a master manipulator or she is one of those people.
I don't think she's a master manipulator. I think she just
one of those people.
Just a white woman. Well, actually, I think it's just a standard white woman. I don't know if she was a feminist or a conservative or a trad. I don't know, but I do know
she might be a boss girl feminist.
Possibly. It is giving that, actually. Like when y'all make misandry, you don't realize that this is a problem too. When we misandry, anywho.
We are so unfortunately deeply conditioned by Disney romance rape culture that we have come to believe that romance is supposed to be all of this silence and feelings that people are supposed to be able to perceive.
Rape culture, but your masterclass of consent is, what reason is there to value you as a woman if I'm not going to be sticking my wee-wee in you tonight? Why would I even waste my time coming over to your house? That's not, you don't believe that's rape culture. That is what you call a masterclass in consent in an admirable man.
I would hate to be her daughter.
That's
all I'm saying.
What's rape culture is when a woman tells you, what's rape culture is a man expecting sex from a woman on the first date, number one. But number two, what's rape culture additionally is when a woman declines to have sex on the first date. And instead of taking that no as an answer, later that day, you tell her there is no reason for you to continue talking to her unless she agrees to have sex. That's what rape culture is, when somebody tells you no and you keep pushing them for sex and give them an ultimatum.
In the same night, too, within a few hour difference. I think that's the craziest part.
All right, she got 3 more seconds of something.
No, that's why rape culture exists, because people don't talk about shit.
Yeah, so there was a lot of this, by the way, in the discourse that I saw from people who agree with the voice note or think it was like a masterclass in consent, as she said. There were a lot of people saying rape culture is not what he was doing regarding her saying no to sex on the first date and him applying pressure for her to have sex on the second date by giving an ultimatum later the same day that she said no. That's not rape culture. Rape culture isn't saying that there's no reason for me to come over to your house if I'm not using your body, because that is a priority for me. That's not rape culture. What she and other people are saying is rape culture is women and other people too, but mainly women who are sharing this voice memo and giving their comments on it about how disgusting they find it and how terrible this is. What is rape culture to her, she believes, is women commenting on how disgusting that man was for pushing for sex.
Mm-hmm.
There are other people who made similar videos and blame rape culture on women responding so negatively and so poorly to this voice memo. And they insinuate that this is the reason why guys lie, because if they're straightforward with you, then this is the type of response they get.
That sounds ridiculous. But you know what this is in line with? Have you watched the movie Obsessed?
Yes.
You know about the Discourse?
Yeah, I do know about the obsessed discourse. Which part? Like the people on Bear side or the discourse generally?
The people on Bear side not being able to understand that what he did during the movie is constituted as sexual assault. Especially after he finds out that after he finds out that she is that it's not her, and he continues to do things with her. The men saying, well, he got her finally or whatever, instead of actually acknowledging the fact that she didn't consent to anything. And a lot of people also, no, that's not the part that I was gonna say. The part was, he believed that she was on drugs and he was continuously doing sexual acts with her. And people who have brains in their heads are saying that she can't consent if she's drugged, because in the beginning he thinks that she's drugged. And so people are saying that he is the victim because she's drugged and she's the one who kissed him first. And just and the whole entire thing is, I don't know. I'm sorry, I forgot. I forget their thought process, but they think that it's fine that he had sex with her while he thought that she was on drugs.
Oh, like when the I used to watch this show called To Catch a Predator, and grown men talk to children, and when they show up, instead of the child, it's like Chris Hansen or somebody. And then the predator will be defending themselves, and they'll be like, "Oh, she came on to me," and it's like, "Okay, well, she's a child."
Yeah, I think that for me personally, I'm very happy that I had I'm gonna say this. My sexual health class teacher when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, was a Black woman, and I remember her saying, "If somebody is drunk, that is not consent. It is rape." If somebody is on drugs, she was just listing everything that somebody could be on, or if they had an accident, if they're not thinking right, if they're not emotionally there, she's like, "This is rape. Do not continue." And I remember all of us just laughing when she was saying everything that she was saying. But I feel like people need the education Miss Davis was giving to everybody, because it's saying that people just believe that just because somebody's on drugs and they go ahead and try to do something with you, that it's consent. They're inebriated. There's no way that they could consent.
What is the thought process behind someone being unable to make informed decision because they're not in their right mind, that make anybody feel like it is appropriate to be sleeping with this person? That seems very unusual. But she did have, by the way, hold on, let me see. She did have more to say, by the way.
Okay. I didn't mean to laugh like that.
Y'all want to listen to her, or y'all want to go on to no contact parents and get into the main topic? The main topic's actually really, really short. So
let's get into the main topic.
Y'all don't want to hear her talk about how...
No, I'm done with her. Whatever they're going on.
I feel like that's up to the audience. That's up to the audience.
All right, let's see. I'll play my intro and then we can get straight into it.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. swallowed up? Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up.
Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you ever gone through a time of swallowing when everything was overwhelming and you were at your wits' end?
Come out the closet and stop keeping a secret and let the world know, if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, I would have been, I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you were at your wits' end?
Who? Yes, take us to church, sir. Take us to church. Yes, I bent over, gave it a shake. Period. Swallowed up. Never get tired of that. So let's talk about like how I came across this topic in the first place. So I came across a video in my TikTok For You page. Excuse me, on my TikTok For You page. It would be in my news feed if I was on Facebook, but it's on my For You page, I think. Anywho, this was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago or so, and I wanted to stream about it last week, but I think I had to wait until I cooled down to go over the topic, because like I actually had to take a step back and breathe and reapproach the topic so it wouldn't just be like a video of me yelling at the screen. I do want to say, number one, we're already over our 30-minute mark. Oops. It is very unlike me to go over time, so I do apologize, and I'll try to be brief. But also, when outlining this topic, I realized that it requires a really thorough analysis that I don't have the tools for today. So instead of diving into this topic today, I think this will be a more informal stream. We can dip our toes into the topic and we'll treat this as a sort of appetizer. I may make this members only after the stream ends, and then we can have like a more thorough stream this Tuesday evening, hopefully. I should be free, because I believe this rabbit hole is extremely deep. I didn't know it was a rabbit hole in the first place, but it is. And I believe the topic is extremely deep and it warrants a lot of analysis and a lot of research. That's simply too much to fit into today. So 30 minutes max, starting now. All right. Okay. 30 minutes max, in and out. We're not going to be on here for no 4 and 5 hours. I don't have time to play around until from dusk till dawn. All right. Don't have time. So we are sticking to 30 minutes at the most. Quick stream. Just briefly touching the topic. Briefly. Just running on water. Not even dipping in it. Just Jesus. Just dipping our toes. That's all. Okay. So let's look at the initial video with that being said. Oh, I should probably make this
haven't watched the initial video yet.
Huh?
I didn't realize we haven't watched the initial video yet.
Yeah. We watched the voice note for the last topic, but we haven't watched this man. We have not watched this man. So this is a therapist on TikTok. I think he's an actual therapist, but I didn't verify his credentials. Shout out to Cheyenne Bryant. Cheyenne Bryant. I don't know what's happened with her. I missed like the entire discourse. I've been gone for too long, but it didn't sound good. It don't sound like whatever happened around Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was good.
I can fill you in the Discord if you want. It was very interestingly funny.
Okay, after this. Y'all, I got to catch up with other topics too. Too much discourse missed. So this man is a therapist, and he does what feels like... Actually, let's just watch it. I'll let it play uninterrupted.
This is one of the reasons why I believe the parents significantly more than the adult children. You can actually go, and I would encourage you guys to do this, like look at some of the comments from some of the ACs, adult kids or adults who decided to cut off their parents. The contempt is very real and the hate is very real. The demands, just the complete, just like degrading and disrespect of anybody that kind of disagrees with them. And so I don't care, like, right? I'm not affected by that at all. In fact, one of the reasons why I even got in this field is because I have a part of my brain where I can just like literally turn that off. I don't feel anything when people insult me. But it does, I want to really like narrow down and get a microscope on what's going on here. Because what you see is a manifestation likely of how they also treated their parents when they were kids. And I want you guys to kind of be mindful of that. Like if you're insulting people who have a different view than you, if you...
What'd you say? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna put that down as a note. He said treated their parents when they were kids.
If you have to...
Oh, you picked up on it too.
This is why I even got in this field is because I have a part of my brain where I can just like literally turn that off. I don't feel anything when people insult me. But it does...
Wait, he got into the mental health field because he feels nothing when people insult him and turn that part of the brain off?
That's so that's a psychopath. No, okay. I'm not gonna say he's a psycho, but that's what it's giving to me. That's just what it's giving.
I don't have the credentials to make those
I don't have the credentials either, so I'm not saying it, but that's what I feel.
And he do
These
care.
are my feelings.
Yes, Vitamin, he do care.
Really like narrow down and get a microscope on...
Oh, and be sure to like the video. I forgot I'm supposed to say this throughout the stream, YouTube says, but be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're not already, because it does help out the algorithm rhythm. Thank you.
What's going on here? Because what you see is a manifestation.
Oh, and never mind. I'll just let him finish because I want to comment on like everything that he says.
I mean, we can. I don't
throw down and
so I want to first of all, this seems vague, which is going to be a theme of today that I don't like, is a sort of vagueness which they talk about no contact children with. But I noticed this part specifically that I didn't remember.
I'm not affected by that at all. In fact, one of the reasons why I even got in this field is because I have a part of my brain where I can just like literally turn that off. I don't feel anything when people insult me. But it does, I want to really like narrow down and get a microscope on what's going on here.
Okay.
Because what you see is a manifestation.
Let me write that down. He says narrow down and microscope on what's going on. I think that's actually really important for later.
It could also be a sign that like people who get bullied by their parents, I feel like
wait.
Sorry,
don't get into it. Yeah, well, go ahead. I do want to let him finish. I just wanted to.
Yeah, I want to let him finish too, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Likely of how they also treated their parents when they were kids. And I want you guys to kind of be mindful of that. Like if you're insulting people who have a different view than you, if you have to...
Let me write that down too. A different view than you.
Mm-hmm. That's what
Here, I'll just write silently.
Like say really degrading things and insult not just, myself, which again, I don't care, but also like other people who are on the platform. It really shows to everyone, at least to me, that this is the way you treated your poor mom and dad when they would push back, when they would say, hey, you need to go to your room because you were really disrespectful to your sister. I can't imagine what your poor parents must have received from you, man. And this is why I keep pressing over and over and over again. Yeah, I really do support a lot of these parents. Now, again, I've also met parents, honestly, where I got to saw some of their bad qualities. And it's definitely happened, but not nearly as much as the ACs on the platform. I would say the parents, some of their qualities, sure, maybe 5 or 6, I can count on one hand, but almost every one of the ACs and their responses, especially not just to me, but to other people, truly manifest, at least to me, this is the way they treat other.
What is ACs? Did I miss something?
I have no idea.
Oh, maybe he means adult children.
Oh, okay. So shortening it for TikTok.
Adult children and their poor parents.
Poor abused parents. Oh my God.
When they kind of disagree with you. So do I support the parents on this platform? Absolutely. I really do. And guys, if I see it, you're not crazy. If I see it, you definitely saw it. So keep being the good parent that you are, keep staying strong, keep doing your work. We believe you. just keep moving on, man. I'm here for you. We're here for you. So this is one of the reasons why
Well, that was a very nuanced and very detailed and critical analysis backed by research.
It's very much giving. He went to the same school as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and I'm so happy for him to have graduated with his doctorate.
He could be talking about white kids who are wild. No, the behavior he described. Okay, listen. Think about no contact kids. Maybe I'll pull up some and we can look at like what are the kids saying there are the reasons why they went no contact. Literally, I'll just look at why I went no contact. Hold up.
You also have to think about the fact that he was taught. Okay, when he said I don't feel anything when I'm insulted. I put that down because I believe that maybe he was bullied by his parents, right? And then he goes on to say, because I think a lot of people who have been bullied by their parents or like people very close to them have like the same, well, in my opinion, but like I'm not a doctor or anything, so like take that as you will. He says at the end, like at some point he says that he was bullied by his kids. Essentially, he said that people insulting kids insulting him and whatever. I think he's personalizing whatever is going on in his personal life, where he's not analyzing the effect that he had on his own children, and he's putting the blame back onto them because he was talking about his children degrading him as a person.
I don't know this man or his personal relationship. PrincePetti does not endorse all the opinions that come on here, and yeah, not representative of my opinion because I don't know him. But you can have yours. Like we're going. He's going to. We can paint a picture about him after we review some more of his videos to paint a more three-dimensional picture about who he is, and a lot of what you said I think comes out. Stars above the Emerald Forest. Thank you for the super chat. This sounds like if we have different political views, so the child went no contact with the parent. That was a part of my analysis, which I won't get in today, but I was looking at the science behind people cutting off not even just parents, but friends, parents, family member, co-workers, or whoever for having political differences, which is becoming I think which there's a increase of in later time because people now associate your political views with your core values and beliefs, which are vastly different from each other on the right and left these days, probably always, but now it's very, very flagrant and in your face, I feel like, in a way that you can't ignore. So if someone vote differently from you and have political difference, it's not a matter of, as people say, disagreeing on pizza topping, but rather it's human rights. Like you disagree on human rights. Like you may look at what's happening around you as egregious and disgusting and a violation of human rights. You may think that women deserve access to bodily autonomy forever and to determine what happens with their own body and not the government to decide that. And these are like very, very severe differences. Like just on bodily autonomy alone, and whether or not you believe an entire like half of the population deserve autonomy over their body, even with no other politics besides that one difference, seems like already vast difference in your morals, values, and I guess depending on like what you believe, your belief about like what is life, where does life begin, or what's a meaningful life, blah blah blah. Like it seems like y'all have a really, really big disagreement on science or the morality of controlling someone. Like this seems like a really big. So I was looking at the differences, trying to research the differences in politics and why people cut off people with political differences, which I tend to agree with, by the way, because like I said, these seem like core values that you differ on. But here was one was, where to go? Incessant political intrusion. The perceived need of some parents to inject highly polarized politics into casual, unrelated conversation. Feeling exhausted by constant reference to partisan talking points in spaces previously kept neutral. which I wanted to link in some way to a different idea I had about quote unquote accepting parents still beating a child over. Never mind, I'll save that for later because it's difficult for me to put into words. So I'll wait. But there was like an article that went along with it that was referenced. It was talking about how tolerance is really like a right, social contract. So like, don't be a dick to me, I won't be a dick to you. But it feels like in these type of relationship, they want to be a dick to people without consequences, and that voids this social contract that we're referring to. So nobody needs to like tolerate. People are referring to it as fascism and Nazi type stuff, and them definitions like seem to agree. Then there's also, perception of shared identity and harassment. So individuals severing ties may cite frequently shifts in the supporter's personality. They might characterize them as increasingly hostile or ugly or quote unquote punching down on vulnerable population. Some people mention personal bullying or aggressive language or trolling. Blah blah blah. There was a corresponding article with that. So I guess those are just two reasons. This is like a really long block of text that I won't read, but I tried to get really, really detailed about even just something like cutting off someone because of political differences, because what you just said about this sounds like we have different political views, which is usually from Trump supporters, I believe is really, really closely related to this issue. Like just the language he uses is giving that. Yeah, so that was a really long drawn out way to pretty much restate what you said, but thank
And
you for
also
the super
using
chat.
their childhood against them. Like children say a lot of mean things to their parents. And I'm pretty sure a lot of like I'm not trying to like blame parents for their children being mean to them or whatever, but I don't think that you should take I don't think you should be taking anything mean that a child says to you seriously, to be honest. I don't think you should take it so seriously that you take it into their adulthood. But if your child is saying mean things to you, you might have to reevaluate how you speak to your child generally. Because a lot of children, like, they return what they get from their parents. It's not really your kids just not saying crazy things to you out of nowhere. It's things that you fostered in that child.
Agree. I do believe upbringing obviously matter insofar as how a child develop and how they act, what's normalized, what's normal, considered normal behavior for them, and normal expression. Agree. But I also think like he described nothing that seemed like abuse or terrible behavior, like a child throwing a tantrum because you told them to go to their room. Like, oh, okay, it's like an angsty 13-year-old or taking a toddler's toy away. Like, yeah, they're going to throw a tantrum. They're a child, and this is expected behavior for a child. So it seems unusual to like your poor parents who chose to bring you into the world and should expect you, a child, to act like and require like being
adult
raised.
behaviors and adult thought processes. Like as an adult, I wouldn't talk to my mom the way that I did as a teenager, because as a teenager, I was like, you know, like the world is against you and you're the only one that knows everything and everybody else is like, it's a learning process that kids go through. And I think to like hold whatever they've said or done as a child against them is actually underdeveloped on the parents' part, in my opinion.
Agreed. I was convinced I knew everything in the world when I was 16 or 15 or 13, like some young age, because I used to read books. So I thought that made me like really smart and wise and beyond my age, because other kids don't read books. So my mom, like, she don't understand how smart I am and how much I know and blah blah blah. Like, sure, I was a kid, now I'm grown, I don't do that anymore because like I'm an adult now. For him to relate like normal childish behavior when you're a child to the same type of behavior that an indicator of children going no contact later in life seems inappropriate and backed by no research that I could find. But
it's
also
giving, where did we get this degree from? That's what it's giving.
And then I had a problem with your poor parents. What about what you did to your poor parents, throwing a temper tantrum? There's something unusual about two people choosing to bring you into world, choosing to raise you, because they, even after, like, they can give you up for adoption. I don't think there's anything stopping parents from giving their child up. Making this choice, you did not make the decision for your parents to sleep together. I hope you don't even want to think about it. Don't think about it now just because I said it. Get the image out your mind. Don't let that image sit in your mind. Don't think about it. Don't think about those two people sleeping together to create you. Don't. It's not something you want to think about your parents. So just get the image out your mind right now. I don't even know why we're still talking about it. But
Why are we?
anywho, these two people choose to bring you in the world. You have no option or no power to do this or force them to do it at all, nor do you as a child have any power to force your parents to take care of you. If they want to give you up, they can give you up, barring them like being so neglectful and to break the law regarding like child abuse or neglect laws and lose custody or something like that. And even then, like, it would have to be proven, like someone would have to come out. You could be all this happening in secret. But anywho, the concept of you need to apologize for what you did to your parents who chose to bring you into the world seems unusual to me. Sorry, I'm not responsible for that. Maybe you shouldn't have had kids.
That's my opinion. I feel like if you're not prepared for the intricacies of childhood, you should not have children. Like, children start disrespecting you at the age of 2. Like, I say that as a person who is an auntie, like a full-time auntie, because in my culture, we live in second generation. Is it called generational housing in English? It's like where it's like multiple family members, like the grandmas, the aunts, and the kids live in the same house. Like, for us in our culture, people don't move out until their first kid is about 4 years old, so that the parents, when they're first time parents, they get a lot of help. And so, like, I'm taking care of these kids or whatever, and like my whole family's involved in taking care of these kids. And yeah, like, sometimes they're very disrespectful. That's just the age that they're at. Sometimes they're mean. Sometimes they think they know everything because they're at that age when they turn 2 and 4, because they want to be more independent. So, like, they're gonna yell at you when you're trying to change their shirt. Am I supposed to take the time when they're yelling at me because they want to change their shirt on their own and be like, oh, they should apologize to me because they hurt my feelings?
Because of how hard they made it on you, being a child and acting like a child.
Yeah, like, oh my god, taking them to the bathroom, like, it's crazy. Because I know somebody who was really, really angry because the kid was 4 years old. He refused to go to the bathroom in public spaces because he felt uncomfortable. For me personally, when I had that, I raised a lot of kids in my family. So, like, I had that same situation with one of my aunt's kids that I was raising because she was going through residency at the time. So for the 8 years that she was in residency, he lived with me. And I remember if he didn't want to go to because he didn't feel comfortable going to public bathrooms, we always made sure we had a 4-hour time frame. We would come back home, like, before he had to use the bathroom or whatever. Just time that stuff. Imagine if I was really angry with him because he accidentally went on himself while we're out and about because he felt uncomfortable being in a public bathroom and took that to be like something that that scarred me, I guess, as an adult, because kids are already scarred by, like, having bodily functions on their own. But I do know somebody where I did know them. I kind of cut them off of my life, but they kept getting angry at their kid because they felt uncomfortable going to public bathrooms. So the kid didn't like going out at all because the reaction that they would have after the child had an accident was just astronomical to whatever the situation was.
And to be clear, I understand raising a child can be difficult, and not minimizing that difficulty at all, or stress or frustration. It is not your child's responsibility to apologize to you for acting like a child and being a child, behaving like a child. Not their responsibility. Nor
It's
should
not
mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
Nor should your frustration be directed towards them. What is his basis on believing the parent because they have parents? Yes, in fact, his reason for believing the parents is simply because they are the parents. He did not cite any research or psychological analysis for why this is so, or give any real meaningful evidence or explanation. He just said, "Oh, kids are mad when you tell them to go to their room, they throw a tantrum. So that's why adult children go no contact." If I remember correctly, I'll play it one more time, like on a faster speed. But he gave absolutely no reason
He gave
to
no
believe
examples of the
parents.
kids
He just said, "Here's why I
either.
believe the parents." Because what about the poor parents and how you threw a tantrum when you were 13? That's all.
And I
But
feel like
I
that's the
will.
part of a learning process that he's like. I feel like children should be allowed to have tantrums like at young ages. Like they're learning how to be human. Your whole job as a parent, if you want to be a parent, should be teaching the child how to be a functional adult. That's your entire job. That's what you sign up for. And there comes a lot of difficulties with it when it comes to children because you're dealing with actual human beings that are gonna be older adults. Like I don't understand. I don't understand being angry with children about being kids. That's their job.
Sally asked, "What's her culture?"
Oh, I'm Somali. Well, my parents are Somali. I was born in Kenya. Therefore, I'm a Kenyan.
Okay. Dr. Phil knockoff is wild, especially because I'm pretty sure Dr. Phil is not licensed in the first place. I think
Yeah,
at
he
some
lost his
point,
license.
yeah, I'm pretty sure like at some point it was like, okay, he's kind of a quack. So the idea of a quack doctor and this guy being a quack of a quack doctor is wow. That's crazy. That's a crazy insult. But funny. Now let me see. We're going to listen one more time faster to see if we missed anything and to refresh our mind before we go to the next one.
Believe the parents significantly. So this is one of the reasons why I believe the parents significantly more than the adult children. You can actually go, and I would encourage you guys to do this, like look at some of the comments from some of the ACs, adult kids or adults who've decided to cut off their parents. The contempt is very real and the hate is very real. The demands, just the complete, just like degrading and disrespect of any.
Okay, so he believes that he did give a reason. He believes parents because just look around. Evidence.
Kids are
just
so
look
mean.
around.
They're so hurtful. They say so many mean things. I feel like he was saying dumb shit and his kids were correcting him and that really hurt his feelings. And you know how I know that? I know a few men that feel very hurt in my family because I hurt their feelings.
I feel like he don't know this man at all, nor his relationship with his children. I feel like this has nothing to do with his relationship with his children, and it has everything to do with the generation he grew up with. Being like, okay, let's lobotomize women for having menstrual cramps. Like, no, that's wild. He grew up in that generation, and he's hierarchical and believes that children are a second-class citizen and that it is inappropriate for children to talk back and a parent is always right and blah, 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 such things like this. So for him to see children going no contact or actually having a grievance with their parents or pushing back in any way that is not being dominated by their parent, I think upsets him. I think simply he believes in this hierarchy where the parent is on top and the child is on bottom. And even as an adult child, you are not their equal. You are still on bottom of them. And he doesn't like for that power dynamic to disappear. But he
It's
might
the same in my culture. They have a saying called "walid kartis garo, gardardis nagaro," which means that when a parent is right, they're right. When they're wrong, they're right. So like you can never argue with them or anything like that. So my biological Voldemort believes that, and he's done and said a lot of weird stuff to me, which I cut him off for. And a lot of people, when they have conversations with me, are generally on his side. They're like, oh, but he's your dad. Oh, but he mind you, this man did not raise me, and I have my dad that raised me, and because I won't call him dad, he said, I pray you die. And I was like, well, that's fine because you're not my dad. And people are like, oh, because you said that, you hurt his feelings, and he's your elder, he's your father. And I'm like, that's not my dad. That's just not my dad. And in my culture, they see that as a very big faux pas. And I don't really give, oh no, I almost swore. I don't give a rat's little nut.
Period. I wanted to note
Yeah.
that he said the children are being mean and degrading. I'm looking at these comments from the parents, and like the condescension and degrading and disrespect I see is fully from the parents. We'll read like one or two of them after.
Anybody that kind of disagrees with them. And so I don't care, like, that kind of disagrees with them. The demands, just the complete, just like degrading and disrespect of anybody that kind of disagrees with them. And so I don't care, like, right? I'm not affected.
Let me write that down too. That's such a that phrase specifically is such a red flag to me. It's a language that betrays him, because the whole, wow, so we can't even have a little disagreement without you cutting me off, or something to that effect. Like language like that is an indicator for me.
And I feel like with him saying degrading, for me personally, I took that as the kids just disagreeing with him on a fundamental level, and him seeing it as a personal attack that shouldn't come from somebody that is their child or younger than them.
By that at all. In fact, one of the reasons why I even got in this field is because I have a part of my brain where I can just like literally turn that off. I don't feel anything when people insult me. But it does, I want to really like narrow down and get a microscope on what's going on here. Because what you see is a manifestation likely of how they also treated their parents when they were kids. And I want you guys to kind of be mindful of that. Like, if you're insulting people who have a different view than you, if you have to like say really degrading things and insult not just, you know, myself, which again, I don't care, but also like other people who are on the platform, it really shows to everyone, at least to me, that this is the way you treated your poor mom and dad when they would push back, when they would say, hey, you need to go to your room because you were really disrespectful to your sister. I can't imagine what your poor parents must have received from you, man. And this is why I keep pressing over and over and over again. Yeah, I really do support a lot of these parents. Now, again, I've also met parents, honestly, where I got to saw some of their bad qualities. And it's definitely happened. But not nearly as much as the ACs on the platform. I would say the parents, some of their qualities, sure, you know, maybe 5 or 6 I can count on one hand, but almost every one of the ACs and their responses, especially not just to me, but to other people, truly manifest, at least to me, this is the way they treat others when they kind of disagree with you. So do I support the parents on this platform? Absolutely, I really do. And guys, if I see it, you're not crazy. If I see it, you definitely saw it. So keep being the good parent that you are, keep staying strong, keep doing your work. We believe you.
So that's why he believes the parent, because his channel, like the kids are, he said, insulting them everywhere he look. He didn't mention like any estrangement research or statistics, which there is actually a lot of data and statistics on family estrangement, as well as some analysis in that research about how the children turn out and what the parents say and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't cite to any of that. He says, oh, I look around and everywhere I look, adult children are disrespectful and parents are just trying their hardest and so amazing. Those poor parents. He not in a relationship. He make an assumption about the entire parent-child relationship based on children who are upset at their abusive parents commenting on his TikTok. That's essentially how he makes his diagnosis of those children and side with the parents.
I honestly thought he was just internalizing everything and just projecting it out onto the viewers, because I wasn't thinking that he was talking about other people, and that's my bad.
He does not come off as projecting to me, which we can disagree. Like, that's not a big issue. We are going to look at some people who I believe are absolutely projecting. Like, I don't believe this man is projecting. I believe he is a product of his time, and I saw some more stuff on his channel today that gave me even more info about why he's saying this stuff. But we're going to look at some of the parents in questions who also made estranged parent TikToks, which is like a gold mine of this type of stuff, but straight from the source. And they are absolutely speaking from personal experience, like absolutely.
You know what he might be? He might be those people that like their parents were awful or whatever, and he forgave his parents, right? And because he forgave his parents, he feels like everybody else should just move along, you know? Um,
I
maybe
disagree. I
he
feel
might be
like it
doing
has
that.
nothing to do with him, nothing to do with his children, nothing to do with his parents.
He's
I feel
just
like he is just purely like this in his like believes that this is the correct
but I
therapy to be
can't
giving
believe them
people.
that's a doctor though, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like you have to have analytical skills if you're a doctor,
Oh,
and
we
I
don't.
felt like
You forgot that this is a mediocre white man. Did you forget that? We didn't go
oh,
over the
my bad.
research. I really want to. I was looking at research about men and women in the workplace, as well as black and white people, and of course the intersection of black women, black men, white women, white men. And what the research indicates is that women outperform men, and usually black people outperform white people at the workplace. But when white people, in particular white men, fail, that fail is accredited to an external thing. So
Mhm.
let's say you have a man and a woman who both work in sales or something, and you have a woman who is making an incredible amount of revenue. She's doing amazing work. She has really good relationships with the client. She's very profitable for the company and very good for the company. And then you have a white man, mediocre, maybe looks like this guy, who doesn't make any sales for the month, like he's doing a terrible job. The clients don't like him. What the research seems to indicate is that people will take their perception of his failures and they'll say something like, no, it's not your fault. That client is just mad. That client is so bitchy. Like nobody likes dealing with that client. They are so like stubborn and really difficult to make a sale. And July is a slow month, man. Like nobody's expecting you to make a bunch of sales in
That's
July,
giving
right?
me
Every
PTSD
single
real quick.
failure has nothing to do with his personal ability or lack thereof, and it has everything to do with everything in his surrounding environment. This is simply bad luck, and it has nothing to do with his own behavior or ability. For women, the opposite was true. When it comes to success in sales, they were more likely to attribute this to luck as opposed to raw skill. So even though these women were more profitable statistically, they were receiving less promotions, they were receiving less pay raises because their work was attributed to blind luck. Oh, that was just lucky. Like that guy is just, he probably just, because you're a woman and he thought you were pretty. So blah, 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 right? Some external force. Additionally, when it comes to failing, women were blamed directly for their failures as a lack of their ability. And then for successes, even unearned successes, men were like praised. I think the example they used in the research I remember reviewing was for someone like stock trader, a company for stock trading, I believe. And there was a man making incredibly risky stock trades that happened to pay off. And when he was making money this way, it was reviewed positively as if he just had like, he had a high risk tolerance and he was knowledgeable in making
Playing with
all the
people's
right picks,
money.
when in reality this was likely luck. And then for women who take the same type of risk and behavior when it came to picking stocks, it was more likely to be like when they succeeded equally to him, it was more likely to be seen as something like luck, and this was a dumb decision, but you're lucky that it paid off, as opposed to this mediocre white man being given a lot of credit for something that he didn't really do, and credit that he didn't really earn. So I used to be very confused about how people like this man who seems mediocre, doesn't reference the research, doesn't seem like he has a really good understanding of psychology in regards to no contact parents specifically, and estrangement, since I don't know what else he does, doesn't cite to any research or anything meaningful. I'm wondering, like, how can this man be a therapist? And then like, oh, he's mediocre and white and a man. So these people
Yeah.
can in fact fail upwards. That is a very real and very researched thing, and I did not know how thoroughly researched it was, but it is extremely well researched.
I feel like I should tell you about the time that I'm a continuous brand ambassador, because I do like doing like jobs with like different brands, I guess. And I know an exact person like that I work with every year, and he barely makes sales. And I think people in my circle always generally say that, like in those specific sales circles, always generally say that I get a lot of sales because I'm pretty. I am pretty, but I don't think that's why I make sales. But yeah, and his name is John.
Is that
Makes
his
0
real name?
sales. Yes, that is.
Not
Y'all ain't gonna find him.
identifiable. So that was a long side tangent. We're also going to get in some more of his political views, which he made known today, like posted literally today. But we'll get into that later, and that also explains a little bit about his views. Let's look at some of the comments. Good parent don't get cut off. It's really that simple. His reply, that's like saying people who are obeying God don't get cancer. Huh?
Okay.
Good parent don't get cut off. It's that simple. That's like saying people who are obeying God don't get cancer.
What does cancer have to do with being a good person and having people in your circle?
Maybe he equates obeying. Maybe he's one of those people who, I just talked about this today, instead of like going to get their child vaccine or surgery or treatment that they need at the hospital, they just like pray it away. Because I would have thought the analogy would be, oh, that's like saying people who get cancer treatments to try to cure cancer or no, people who eat healthy and never like blah 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 will not get cancer. Like if I'm being the best faith that I can, what he was trying to say is you can do good behavior and still be treated poorly. But he brought God into it for some reason. Because
oh my God. Okay, there is a video I think you should watch. It's not really okay. There was somebody who the video was put up because the child was being prayed for. Mind you, the child had meningitis, and the parents took the child out of the hospital to go bring them to a religious something so that they could pray the meningitis away, and the child ended up dying. Like they did that under like the doctors were like, hey, if the child leaves, they can't breathe on their own, and they can't they need continuous medication. And the parents were like, God's got this. And they took the kid to this religious building, and the child ended up dying within a few hours of being removed from like medical care, basically. And I remember being like, that's the dumbest shit I ever saw. And I feel like if you want to be religious, that's great. I'm not. I mean, I'm semi-religious, but I think if you're going to be religious and you want to pray the disease away, that's fine. Why would you take your kid out of a hospital?
you know they're going to twist it too. God called him back home. We did everything we could. Jennifer says, you know who determines whether their parent was a good parent? The child. The parent doesn't get to tell their child how to feel about their upbringing. The parent doesn't get to dictate how the child should feel. Also, a child should never apologize for age-appropriate behavior when a kid. You know who had the power? The parent, the adult. You don't get to blame the child when they were an actual child. Now, I want to remind you, what he said was when he looks in his comment, he responded to this, by the way. These are, in fact, the comments from adult children that he's referring to. He referred to these comments as, everywhere I look, adult children are being so condescending, so rude, just because of a minor disagreement, and they want the parent to follow every single thing that they believe in, or else they call their parent an abuse. Like the way he referred to the children as if they are in the comments being disgusting and degrading, when they are commenting, hey, the child is actually who decide. You don't, like, the child is who decides that their parent's a good parent, not the parent, right? The parent shouldn't dictate, blah blah blah. I just read it. This doesn't seem disgusting to me. There's the parent's comment right beneath that, which we'll get to, because that's what I think is disgusting. But these adult children seem very respectful, correcting his view, or rather voicing their opposition to his view
as a medical professional.
He replied to that and said, not for adult children, Jennifer. No, when you're a child, you do dictate your feelings about how your parents raised you, and if you feel they were a good parent. when you become an adult, you still dictate how you should feel about your parents and how your upbringing was. And then let's see, you had the power. I guess he's saying the adult child, the parent doesn't have power over the adult child. I talked about this with someone earlier today, but they absolutely do. We talked about a couple of things. Like, number one, when you become an adult, not everyone immediately moves out of their parent home. 18-year-olds don't immediately gain job experience and college experience and make a lot of money full time. Like, usually there's still some dependency on parents prior to even after becoming an adult. And then we talked about like FAFSA too, because I remember applying for FAFSA when I was in high school, and like it feel like it needed so much detail from my parents, like an unreasonable amount of detail, just for me to be able to get like aid to go to college. Was really dependent on my parents and their ability to like get me the information I need, like completely dependent on them, even just trying to get some aid. So the power dynamic doesn't go away immediately for adult children just because they turned 18. That can still be
if
there.
you're really 24 or 25, around around that age is when you don't need your parents' permission for stuff. But for FAFSA, like, I've worked with a lot of kids whose parents didn't want to sign the FAFSA papers or whatever, and we would have to actively go ahead and do emancipation, paperwork through the city, through the town hall and everything. Have their parents write letters, and if the parents refused to write a letter saying that they were not supporting the child, it was essentially extremely impossible to get that child into college. And you, like, there were so many other hoops that you had to jump through in order to get them to be in the to be in the college. My bad.
It sounds just how I remember it. Someone said, "I'm truly sorry. So many adult children really cut off their legacy. Their family died due to this social media trend."
Legacy.
Someone replied, "A social media trend. Surely you're aware that people have been doing this for all so long as there were people, right? You're going to tell me that your grandparents had a relationship with every single family member that came before them that was still alive, or that there was that uncle that no one ever talks to because he's a drunk? Because please believe me, this isn't a trend. We just have the ability to have conversation about it with a larger community and have language to talk about it." Let's do kids don't hate their parents for no reason. And then, all right, I'm an adult and cut off contact from my parents equals mom stopped paying my cell phone bill and I'm pissed. This, I believe, is that condescension he was referring to, but it's coming from parents. Children are speaking up about why they went no contact because of, usually they're describing what seems like abuse, in my opinion, and legally sometimes, but also verbal abuse and disrespect and being berated and degraded and disrespected, like for their entire childhood and sometimes into adulthood as well. They reduce all of that to I'm an adult and I cut off contact from my parents equals my mom stopped paying my cell phone bill and I'm pissed. So that's why they believe children are cutting off good, perfect parents, poor parents who are doing such a good job.
That's crazy.
Let's see. Valid reason. I cut off my mother when I was 47 after abuse from birth. I can assure you she wasn't paying my phone bill. She replied to that and said, valid reason to go no contact, but there are selfish adults who go no contact because of a disagreement or their parents tell them no. Not all estranged relationships are the parents' fault. This feels like so... The concept of someone who I love who has treated me so amazingly for my entire life, but then they tell me no once, like, oh,
and I'm
okay,
gonna cut them off. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, I think
and they know it's ridiculous.
Burn this bridge and destroy the relationship I have with this amazing person because they didn't pay my cell phone bill this month. Yeah, that's believable. That's probably what happened. Makes sense. I have a story for you. I remember the time I was cut off for about a year from my daughter, and I was getting remarried, so I wanted to bridge that relationship. So I reached out, talked her into coming to the wedding. Wait, I was cut off for about a year from my daughter. I was getting remarried, so I reached out, talked her into coming to the wedding. Wait, why didn't you?
Reach out
Well,
sooner.
I don't know how y'all feel about setting a boundary that you don't want contact with your parent and your parent violating that boundary. I don't know how you guys feel about that. That feels inappropriate to me and like disrespecting the boundaries that your child put up. Unless your child explicitly said
I
like, "Don't come to me unless you have an apology or you've changed or something like that." But as a
I
general
understood
matter,
it as the child stopped talking to them, and like he didn't like. I guess, okay, if this is a if this is a man, in my opinion, I think he stopped talking to that child a long time ago, and the child stopped stopped contacting him. And it's not really like a cut off. It's more like when the adult disappears and then the child also becomes withdrawn. And then he reached out because he's getting married. I've seen a lot of other stories like that, so I'm just going based off of Reddit. My bad. But that's what I feel like.
let me see. She says, "Okay, I'm cut off for a year from my daughter, getting remarried, and wanted to bridge that relationship. So I reached out and talked her into coming to the wedding." First of all, why are you a parent with a child who feels like your relationship is destroyed due to whatever allegation they've made? And your concern isn't like, I want to, I want my child to feel like healed. I want them to feel whole again, and whatever transgression they have, I want to make sure that it's addressed, so that they feel that way. And no, it's like, oh, I'm getting remarried. I want her here. Is what it feels like. It feels very much to me like me, and it doesn't really feel
They
like
wanted to fill
something
the table. That's what it's
she's
giving.
doing. She's not doing it for her daughter. It doesn't feel, or I assume this was a she, because men, I don't see a lot of men coming online talk about how they want contact with their kids ever. But
I think I've only seen that in cases where it's adult men, and then people ask them where they're like if like where their family is, or whatever, or if their family is coming, and then because they feel like I don't know, what is it called when you feel a little bit embarrassed because you completely discounted people that belong in that should be in your close circle, and then they invite the child because of that. Like, I think for a lot of women generally, it's they already have their child with them.
let's see. Reached out, talk her into coming to the wedding. Okay. So the wedding, it was amazing. It was a great wedding with no drama. She offered to do a photo album in book form. I thought this was a great way to continue bridging our relationship. She took all the photos from the photographer and created a book album. I said I loved it, and the only thing I would like to do is move the group photos of friends to like a different section of the book. Like just move pages 25 and 26 to the end of the book. She immediately got very upset, very distraught, and very offended. She said she knew reconnecting was a bad idea, and how dare I ask for a change and wreck her art. She had worked really hard on it, and the result was it caused another no contact situation for another year. This feels like incredibly unrealistic, if I'm being honest.
Unless he's talking about pages that she was in specifically.
She says, I want to move the group photos of friends to a different section of the book. Move pages 25 and 26 to the end of the book. Her child immediately threw a tantrum, called it abuse, and cut her off with no warning. That's just something that happens.
I don't believe him.
No, that's something that it happens. It sounds realistic. It just sounds like a real story and real emotions that you would expect someone to have when moving pages 25 and 26 to the end of the book. It's these damn adult children and their abuse of the parents. It's the parents being abused. Somebody said, thank you for exposing your moral superiority. Congratulations. Don't worry. If she would have found, don't worry about it. She would have found something else to use. Classic
and I feel
symptoms.
like that's like hard work. I see this as a person who does a lot of art though. Like, if I when I make albums for people and everything, and like I make it with how I feel and how I feel inspired, I'm not changing shit.
I genuinely don't believe this story because
I
this feels like
don't.
someone's wedding is happening and they want something done a certain way that requires moving 2 pages to the back, and this was the cause of like a split and a tantrum. Does not sound believable to me.
It
There is
doesn't
no
feel believable to me at all.
there's no amount of, you're gonna have to do a lot of convincing or explaining to me for someone making a photo album moving 2 pages further back, and this is like a very, very big thing. Like, I understand you just said if you make art you're not changing it, and it's your art. And
Yeah.
like, even this comment says she created something very special for you with love and you criticized it and wanted to change it. If a person does that for you, you don't criticize it and you accept it with love. I'm betting your child reacted that way because nothing she did ever met your standard, and she lived with constant criticism from you. It is incredibly rude to criticize a gift made with love and given to you. Your child's reaction was understandable. Let me just say, I do not think it's that deep at all, if I'm being honest.
I think the only way I can see somebody reacting like that is if the photos being asked to move to the back is the photos of the child that has been estranged. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't see it as believable. Maybe like
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
if
see
the
it as
parents like,
believable.
wow, you made it like that. Like, maybe if the parent is being condescending and has this sort of attitude around critiquing every single thing the child do, then this becomes one more what's it called?
This
It's like when you make a pile of something and then this is like the tipping point and you're
Yeah.
just adding the final straw.
Yeah.
Wait, why is that a phrase? What did the straws do? Are they on something?
That's
And
what I'm
then they
saying.
weigh too much and it falls, or never mind. But this is the final
The final
straw.
straw that broke the camel's back. That's
Yeah.
what it is. But I don't understand.
Grown children don't estrange themselves unless it's really bad. Everyone wants parents. It's a very painful decision from a parent. Someone said, wow, I wish you were right. Some people have no idea that this is really happening, and it's definitely a trend. Okay, let's see.
I feel like it's people not analyzing themselves. I feel like some people need to see a therapist that will be very honest with them about themselves and like do a full life annotation.
Oh, they don't want therapy. They want to find a community that will coddle them, excuse their abuse, and allow them to be shitty in peace. I wanted to find one more from him before we go to the actual parents, because cuddling can save your life. Ugh.
You have to have 17 hugs a day to keep the depression away.
Let me see what this
Do you want well-behaved children? Do you? Do you want well-behaved children? Do you? Okay. All right. Cool. You ready? You ready for this? This is really amazing. I'm going to give you the secret on how to have extremely well-behaved kids. You guys ready for this? Family dinners. That's it. Family dinners. Well, what do you mean? Okay. Well, let's talk about family dinner. A good family dinner is this. Number one, you, mom and dad, I'm going to pick on you. Put your cell phone in the other room. Okay. One of the worst things.
Girl, I'm bored. Next.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you're gonna have to get to it quicker. You don't have the charisma to keep me hooked. Sorry.
Okay, I want to talk to the parents out there whose kids decided to cut them off. I'm not talking about the parents who really kind of messed up. All right, you guys know you know what you need to do. You have to go apologize. All right, it's just what you have to do. No, I want to talk to the parents out there whose kids have cut them off, even though you as parents have basically did.
I think this is also a form of coddling, this sort of in like a plausible deniability. Like, no, I'm not talking about the abusive parents, not those guys. I'm talking.
What does the
to
best you can mean? That's what I mean. Like, I feel like people who say, "Oh, they did the best that they can," and you still dislike them. I'm like, the best that you can. If it wasn't good enough, then you should be cut off. That's my opinion.
Someone said I was cut off because I voted for Trump. No other issues in our relationship. That's it. Sure, no other issue. It doesn't matter if I was very close to. He replied and said, no reason to cut you off at all, period. That tells me exactly what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Over a minor political... Didn't someone just send that? Hold up. Sounds like we have a different political view, so the child went no contact with the parent. Yeah, somebody just mentioned this earlier. I'm pretty sure we touched on it. This sounds like Trump supporters. Oh my God, you're cutting off the friendship because of a minor disagreement, because of politics? Like, this people's whole life, man. This is people are voting for whether or not they believe that a woman's right to her body usurp the government right to her body. Why the government have a right to her body? Don't know. I guess half the population just feel that way. And that's just like one political difference.
I feel like it's actually I feel like it's actually kind of crazy, because I feel like when you have the belief that somebody doesn't have a right to what happens to their own body, and you don't care about what's happening with the children, that like all the kids that went missing because of the detention centers, the concentration camps that America has for little kids, and people being jailed, people not having the right to, I think it's habeas corpus, right? Where you can't jail somebody without a reason. But we in the United States decided that that's not something that we should care about. And I think we, as in the people who are in the Republican Party, who believe that people shouldn't have those rights anymore. People are literally taking away the rights of people who are people who have a history of being formerly enslaved, people like the Native Americans and stuff like that. I can't imagine my parents dehumanizing those groups of people, and I am part of those groups of people. I can't imagine my parents dehumanizing those groups of people and them still thinking that they were correct in that situation. I feel like there is a thought process that is very much missing from these people.
Agree, and those just scratch the surface. These comments pissing me off, but I have to finish the video before we get to them.
The best you possibly can. Okay, that's where the growth come off. I'm not talking about the parents who really kind of messed up. All right, you guys.
Oh my God.
Okay. You have to go apologize. All right, it's just what you have to do. No, I want to talk to the parents out there whose kids have cut them off, even though you as parents have basically did the best you possibly can.
I want to pause here briefly and comment on, he made 2 categories of parents, but those categories are not mutually exclusive and don't make sense. So let's look at what he says is the first category of parents.
Right, you guys know, you know. Okay, I want to talk to the parents out there whose kids decided to cut them off. I'm not talking about the parents who really kind of messed up. All right, you guys know, you know what you need to do. You have to go apologize. All right.
Okay, so he's not talking to the parents who really messed up. What is really messed up? Don't know. Very vague. Is it abusive parents? Is it disrespectful parents? Is it parents who couldn't afford to put food on the table? Don't know. He gives us no description. Let's assume that these are terrible, abusive parents who do, in fact, he believed need to apologize. So we have abusive parents, and then let's look at the other category of parents.
What you have to do. No, I want to talk to the parents out there whose kids have cut them off, even though you as parents have basically did the best you possibly can.
Okay, so on the left, we have abusive parents, and on the right, we have parents who did the best they can. These 2 circles can overlap. The correct circles to make would be on this side, parents who were abusive, on this side, parents who were not. Like, there are parents who are not abusive who are also not doing the best that they can. And then there are parents who are abusive who could very well be doing the best that they can. Doing the best that you can does not mean that you are not abusing your child, nor does it mean that you're giving a good life to your child just because you're doing the best you can. Like, there are men doing the best they can with reading, but the way these literacy rates looking, the best is illiterate, apparently.
There are a lot of men that did the best they can by raising their children, and somehow single motherhood is extremely high with children being raised without fathers.
There are people who the best that they can. There's this phrase that goes around, and I actually like the phrase, just not the way that it's used for estranged parents. And it's that I did the best I could with the tools that I have. And I think about like someone who might abuse their children physically, or what I thought about in particular was the movie Precious, which I won't talk about too much because that'll just dampen my mood. But the idea of a parent who is passive while you may be suffering abuse from their partner, for example, or your dad or someone else. There are parents who siblings do things to their other siblings and the parents sweep this under the rug, or people who, when that uncle who's a sexual abuser or a PDF file comes over, instead of like denying him access to your house and your children and protecting children, oh, put on don't wear a skirt, put on pants, you know not to put on blah 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 blah. So this may be a result of people being raised in this generation where women and children are blamed for men's physical and sexual violence against them. This may be someone who grew up in a household where they were abused and they simply believe that this is normal. This is just how relationships are and this is to be expected. Just because that is just because their upbringing, their life, the society that they lived in or time period limits their ability to, I don't believe it limits their ability to grow, but I'm just going to use that sentence. Limit their ability to grow, and the best that they can do is apparently allowing their child to be abused or abusing their child themselves because this is simply what they believe is normal. The best ain't good enough. This that simple. Your best was not good enough. Sorry.
I don't think we should be passing people if they're not passing the test. I think that I think personally parenthood is a test that you voluntarily join. Essentially, unless it was involuntary. In that case, there are abortion centers. There's adoption. You could do so many things in this day and age. Oh, so he's not like a real psychologist. I'm sorry. I don't find people who go to religious schools.
I'm looking for his credentials now.
Yeah.
But you can continue, sorry.
Yeah, like people who essentially, I think that you have to be prepared as a parent. You can't just have kids and be like, okay, this is what I went through and this is how I dealt with everything because I had no resources. In this day and age, especially, even way back when, they had books on how to raise your children and whatever. They had they still have resources. They have CHD. They have the Department of Child Services isn't only for taking away children, it's for parents to go there and ask for help when it comes to their kids, essentially. I feel like there are a lot of resources, even community organizations that help families and people learn how to take care of their kids. Like I think about just in my state right now, in my city specifically, there are 5 different programs that help people who are raising children learn how to raise children, how to educate them and everything. There's like early childhood education classes teaching you about how children develop, what they need at certain ages. You can't just say you don't have the resources, in my opinion. Yeah. And that's for people, to me, that's people that are not trying to raise kids.
So I looked up, while you were speaking, I looked up his credentials. First, let me say this. The reason why his content, a large reason why his content shocked me, is because immediately when I saw the type of content that he makes, which seems so extremely different from what I would expect any therapist, psychologist, or anyone with a background in mental health to make, seemingly like the opposite of the type of content and opinions that they have that does not seem research-based, I immediately went to look up his license to see if he was actually a licensed therapist. And when I searched for this man, and this was like a week or 2 ago, not right now, when I searched for him, what I found was that he is in fact a licensed therapist. He was even on Psychology Today, for example, if you guys have ever used that for therapy, to book a therapist. and it showed that he was licensed. So I said, oh, okay, he does have his credentials. And I closed the browser there, but I did not look in detail at his licensing. So let's see what his credentials are. Education and years in practice. So his education is attended Reformed Theological Seminary. Hold up. Seminary.
What does that mean?
That is a school, a theological school.
So the school is called Reformed
Master of Divinity. What?
That's not a doctor.
Master of Divinity. Let me see what that is.
Why does that sound like a D&D Dungeons and Dragons term?
So he has a Master's of Divinity, which is designed to prepare students for the pastoral ministry, focused on 3 specific areas of study. This is directly from the school that he went to's website, by the way. This is not like a general statement about that class. This is specifically what he studied. Focused on 3 specific areas of study: Bible, systemic theology, and pastoral theology. Graduates will gain the skills to apply scripture to contemporary circumstances, understand and live in the Christian faith, and exercise their individual gifts and ministry with competence. Huh?
This is giving Mormonism.
Some of the coursework: 16 credits in Greek and Hebrew, 25 credits in Old and New Testament. This man's credentials that he lists on his website, on his Psychology Today, is he went to school to be a pastor?
Yeah.
To read the Old Testament and understand the Old Testament? I just saw that, oh, he has a master's and he's licensed, and I did not read anything about what the master's was. I didn't read what the license was. Let's see his additional credentials. Certificate from Internal Family Systems Level 1. Let me see if that's something legitimate or if that's like a paper mill. It's from IFS Institute. I don't know if these certificates are legitimate, but what I will go to is so his MDiv has nothing to do with therapy, and it has everything to do with the Bible. He read the Bible a lot to get a degree, apparently.
He's the doctor of the Bible.
Apparently. LMFT just stands for Licensed Marriage and Family Therapist. That doesn't tell us what license he have or give any additional information there. MMFT, let me see.
Are you saying that if I go ahead and do Greek and Hebrew,
yes,
and 25 credits in reading the Old Testament, I can be a doctor tomorrow?
Okay, here we go. We have a Master of Marriage and Family Therapy. I think this is a legitimate degree offered by Christian University. Let me see.
Can you see where he's working for? Does he work for the Mormon Church?
It's his information is public. He has a business and stuff that in a practice, so you can like look up his details. I won't put them on screen, but like, let me see. I'm looking for like, what is it? Girl, what are this surprises me, by the way. I genuinely did not know this. Okay, so he also has, as a part of his credentials, THM. Let's see what THM is. THM is Master of Theology. Learn more. Master of Theology provides advanced academic preparation beyond the MDiv. Okay, so he's not just reading the Old Testament or the New Testament. No, he's reading, dare I say, the Future Testament? I don't know. All right, so this will prepare people for theology and biblical study, equipping pastors with deeper resources for preaching and pastoral ministry. How is this man qualified to be a therapist? Is this legal? Don't you have to actually like go to school? Like
if you're doing theology, like if you're one of those people who's going through the church, you know how they have church therapists and stuff like that. They don't actually have to take psychology courses.
This cannot be the case. Well, I don't know. So
Yeah, they literally don't have to take psychology courses. That's why I don't know if you remember the lady who had all them kids, and then she used to be a YouTube mom. I forgot what her name was, but she went to jail for abusing her children because her children went to the neighbors and they were all duct taped and stuff. And there was a psychology lady that was helping her. That lady is not she's not a psychologist. Well, she is a psychologist, but she's like a church psychologist, which means that she doesn't actually have to be licensed in care for families.
what is going on? MMFT, I think, is legitimate. He took the okay. That's what I would expect, but there's no details. Okay, some master's programs. All right, so it looks like he does have master's programs. I assume the credentials that you would need to be a licensed therapist, since he's listed as a licensed therapist. It just also looks like he has a really heavy lean into Christianity and theology, and maybe that could be what's forming this what seems like a very extreme bias that he has, and a hierarchical way that he referred to parent-child relationships and like disrespectful way, in my opinion, that he referred to these children, and how dismissive he is. So maybe that's why. That's interesting. Girl, if I had found there was no type of legitimate education, I would have been, well, would there be a board to contact? Would there be a board to contact? Okay, let me see.
There's like Mormon schools like that people go to, where they, oh my god, there's a rabbit hole I was on a few months ago. If I could remember half the things I was reading, but the gist of it is that they're not really psychologists.
Yuck. Sorry, I should hide my disgust. I apologize.
I don't think, and I'm not trying to be mean when it comes to theologists, but I think that if you're a theologist that wants to be like a licensed a psychologist, you actually have to go to psychology school, and then you could do your theology stuff too, but definitely more psychology than theology, because then we get the result of people like this man doing this exactly.
Oh, I guess we could still contact whatever board he got his license from.
Yeah.
This is evidence. I've done that before, but not for him. Or when I feel like somebody's spreading something dangerous online, but they were more overt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where the growing epidemic is happening. It's not happening with like serious abuse. Here's the thing. Trauma is an overused word.
Okay, you're going to have to find serious abuse and then define non-serious abuse. Or what behavior you believe is not abusive that you believe children are cutting their parents off for.
Abuse is,
and if
by
he's religious,
far
he might not even see hitting as abuse, to be honest. I don't think he takes any form of abuse to be serious at all. And that's the part that's a little bit scary.
It also doesn't have to be abuse. Like you can cut off anybody and you don't have to wait for them to like beat you up physically, for example. Like you can cut off a relationship prior to that for like disrespect or something else. So saying that abuse is overused and everyone's calling it doesn't matter. People aren't cutting off their parents just for abuse. Sometimes it's something else, and you can address those things. To imply that if it's not children are cutting their parents off and mischaracterizing it as abuse and overusing the word abuse.
I don't think he has the what's it called when somebody doesn't have the girth? Not the girth. It's like the mental capacity to be doing this. Exactly. For example,
the girth. No, he got the capacity. I believe people have the capacity and they're evil. I don't reduce people. He got his master. He got his he has his license. I won't take that away from him, depending on what school that was, because Dr. Cheyenne Bryant apparently traumatized the people out here when they finding out what school she went to. But if she went to one.
She said that beating up kids, like beating kids, is like is good to do. I don't want to misquote her, but she was saying that children should be beat.
Yeah,
and that's
take that license away if that's
like, I'm like, and people were trying to, and then she was making fun of one of the psychologists. I don't know if he was a psychologist, but he was also a doctor on there with, like, he was a licensed doctor. That's the one that eventually outed her or whatever for not being a real doctor. So she was saying that people need to he was saying that people need to gentle parent because gentle parenting creates gentle adults, and she was just making fun of him for being a gentle person, essentially. And I didn't understand that whole thingy, but like my autism couldn't catch up.
But he does make what feels like an implication here that the reason why it feels like an attempt to delegitimize no contact kids, and with his reasoning being, or with it being implied that the word abuse is being overused and that there's no reason to cut off a parent if it's not abuse, or that was the implication I got.
Use word. And what you want to stop doing as a parent is buying into the language that your coddled, unappreciative, spoiled little kid is using against you during Thanksgiving or Christmas on why they continue to cut you off as if you
coddled child. Got it. The way these people mentioning their child in the, well, what I would like is more specific behavior being mentioned. I wish he would identify some sort of behavior that he agrees with, disagrees with, like anything. But there's these vague, they're coddled and they get everything in the world. But when you disagree with one thing, that like there's no information here. What is he talking about? What happened? What is the child's grievance? What was the issue? How long have they been trying to remediate something? Like, he gives us absolutely nothing about anything, just these vague, as a parent, you have to stop apologizing for their mischaracterization of you raising and them when they were a kid and they blew up in your face just because you wouldn't agree with every little thing and you were such a good parent and you kids are so terrible, you're a poor parent. Like, we learned absolutely nothing about anything. We were given no information, just a bunch of coddling parents, in my opinion.
There's saying a lot of words without actually saying anything of substance.
Agreed.
Is what's happening.
You did something wrong. Stop like buying into their language.
Like, he's not identifying any behavior. The children are calling blank abusive. Stop buying into their language about you being abusive or oppressive just because you did blank. What is the behavior that you're identifying? You have people who are beating and raping their children can watch this video and believe I'm a good parent, and they're calling me abusive. Like, you've identified no barrier, no cutoff, no behavior that we can use to say that this is abuse, or as you believe this is abuse, or you believe this is not abuse. And here's the behavior that the parent did that's not abusive, that the child is mischaracterizing as abuse. He's not giving that distinction. So abusive parents are in fact covered by this video, in my opinion, despite him saying in the beginning, I'm not talking to the actual abusive parents. You guys need to go apologize. I'm talking to you good parents who tried your best. But he makes no such distinguishment between those two. It is up to the parent who's watching, who's being coddled by this video and videos like it, in my opinion, to determine whether or not they're a good parent. There is no behavior that he identifies to objectively say what is a good or bad parent, because this language is meant to cover, in fact, abusive parents, not abusive parents, middle. Well, I think it's specific.
It's like, I think
like everybody.
It's all encompassing. Like, think of it as like when you're not when you're writing your thesis, but when you're writing a big block of paragraphs because you have to fill an essay, right? And I do this. I only say this because this is something that I do when I'm writing essays, where I create a whole bunch of nothingness and fluff without actually answering a question or like making anything concrete because I've already written down my thesis. I've already written down everything. I just want to have as many words as possible because of the length that the essay needs to be, even though I've already covered what I needed to be covered. He's at that section of that type of essay, in my opinion. And he literally has, I don't think he has anything to say. I think he just wants to be as vague as possible without actually saying anything, which is actually kind of frustrating.
Disagree. I do agree he wants to be as vague as possible, but I think it's because when let me see.
I'm misunderstanding his intentions, I suppose.
No, that's not it. It's I don't have the language. I don't have the range.
Okay.
I don't have the capacity. Disregard what I said.
We have the time. It's your podcast.
No, 30 minutes max. We won't be here more than 30 minutes, and that's a promise. Be sure, by the way, to leave a like on your way in if you haven't already. It does help out the algorithm, and I do appreciate it. And subscribe if you would like to see more. And this time, like, we'll actually be streaming again Tuesday, not just today. So, pinky promise. But I think he knows he's wrong. He's being intentionally vague because he knows he's wrong, and he knows these parents are wrong, and because the behavior is wrong. And if you say out loud, verbatim what's happening, it sounds bad.
Oh, it's like when you, okay.
Not like he don't have the language. I believe he absolutely could have the language and could use the language. He wants to be vague intentionally to capture as many abusive parents as possible.
So he's garnering a specific audience.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That I can stand behind. I also just made a slight connection. The way he speaks is kind of giving, like, I don't know if anybody's gone to, oh my god, if anybody's gone to like religious counseling, where they take, where even though the parents are blameful or like the spouse is abusive or whatever, they're like, well, they just skirt around it.
I don't understand. Break it down for me.
Yes, that's who I was talking about.
He's so golden.
Ruby for that. That's too white for me to say. Ruby Framer and Jody Hill of that. That's their name. I can say Ruby.
Girl, that name is too hard. Okay, providing cover for abuser. Agreed. I'll let him finish his piece though.
Of being abusive or oppressive, when really you were.
I hate this man so much. Wow, your kid said you're abusive. Why? Why did they say that? Give us some specifics. What did they say that you're mocking?
We're just basically being a very good parent. Comb your hair, brush your teeth. Hey, Billy, why don't you go to the gym? Because you look kind of big. Okay. Here's the thing.
I promise you, first of all, I was about to pause and say, ain't no kid cutting off their parent because their parent told them to brush their teeth and make sure they stay healthy as a child and like wash their face and stuff and kept up with their hygiene. Ain't nobody cutting off a good parent for those reasons. And I was about to make an entire like long soliloquy about how these children have really major grievances with their parents, and every single time these people refer to those grievances, they minimize it into something so small and so insignificant, like, oh, they cut me off because I told them to brush their teeth. And then he said, you're getting a little big and you need to go to the gym. And I immediately thought about some of my own family members and how they treat I have a bigger sibling in particular. I don't think she's big no more because Ozempic came and captured everybody in my town. Ain't no more.
Everybody's waist.
But like the way that they talk to her, it is not, hey, you need to go to the gym, you look kind of big. It is that every single day of your life, from the time that you are how old is it when you can like
can't even sit and eat?
From the time you are 2 to the time you are an adult, even after you move out, I promise this is a consistent disrespect and negging that happens over an entire lifetime. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
I
I have
promise it was not one. Sorry, go ahead.
like I grew up as a kid and I remember all those kids that got bullied by their parents because of their either their weight or things that they couldn't physically change about themselves. That the parents, not even just the parents, but people around them would bully them for. Um, I think the way that he's framing this is extremely disingenuous, in my opinion.
Yes, they're misrepresenting the children, I believe, and the parents who they're like propping up as better than they actually are.
Because I'm like, I wouldn't get mad at somebody for being like, "Hey, you're gaining a little bit of weight." I don't know. Would I be mad?
No, I would.
No, I think I would be mad actually.
You're
Because I'm
getting
like,
a little weight,
who told you to
overweight.
look at my fluffs?
I can't think of any reason, any non-disrespectful reason for someone to say that. If I'm being
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
there's no non-disrespectful reason I can think of someone saying you're getting overweight.
I think that the good like a good response to even your kid gaining weight is changing your family habits 90% of the time. It's not like you shouldn't put like the pressure of your child gaining weight and also just figuring out why your kid is gaining weight to begin with. Um and some people just have not their some people's body percentage generally settles differently than other people.
I'm like, who cooking? Who buying groceries? Who making the meals? Who
That's what I'm
feeding
saying.
them? Wow, you're
Like
getting big after you done made that way. Like, anywho,
you you're the one who's cooking. You're like honestly, if you as a parent isn't putting your child in programs like for me for instance, not that we did this to for any of us to really lose weight. When I was very little, my dad used to take us to the gym with him because he used to go to the gym around 5 a.m. So we'd wake up, go to the gym like I think it was like 5 6, and then we'd come back from the gym, take a shower, eat breakfast, and then go to school, right? For some parents, I think they do it later on in the afternoon, but my dad was one of those people that would work until nighttime, so that was the time that he had with us. I feel like people, if you feel like your child is gaining weight, not that that's the reason why my dad did it. It was mostly because we forced him to take us with him.
hmm.
He was like that was his alone time before, and then it just became not his alone time, you know. um, but just take your kid with you wherever you go. If you think your kid should be working out, you should be working out alongside your kid, because whatever's affecting your kid is not just affecting them, it's also affecting the entire family, in my opinion.
This is another example, by the way, of when I said I believe there is abuser coded language, and like neglectful parent, and like there's terrible behavior going on, I believe, that is not immediately in front of us. And I believe that we can sort of pick up on some subtleness in how people talk, the language they use, to find out whether or not they are in fact discussing something that is like abusive or degenerate behavior towards a child. Because the concept of, in my opinion, telling your child that they're getting big implies to me that this is something that was likely done consistently throughout their lifetime and not
Mm-hmm.
once. In my opinion, that's what that would tell me.
Most people who are under 30, anytime you challenge them, they immediately see it as, oh my gosh, my mom is abusing me. She's not abusing you. Okay. That's actually a sign that you're overly coddled. Do you actually want to know, for example?
Wait, what research is there indicating that young people are misidentifying regular behavior as abuse? Wait, what is he citing to?
I've
There,
heard this, but I've heard this from religious people. I
I,
haven't heard it from regular people or people with medical credentials.
I've only seen research that people who are being abused are likely to put up with it, normalize it, excuse it, or try to explain it away as something different and not realize that they're in fact in an abusive relationship. That's the only type I've seen. As a
Whether or not
general
you have been
matter, like,
traumatized.
obviously exceptions exist.
My mom is abusing me. Here's the thing. Most people who are under 30, anytime you challenge them, they immediately see it as, oh my gosh, my mom is abusing me. She's not abusing you. Okay. That's actually a sign that you're overly coddled. Do you actually want to know, for example, whether or not you have been traumatized? Are you ready for this? Do you know why I know most of you have not been traumatized? Because you talk about it all the time. Do you know what trauma does to the human brain? It shuts down the Broca's area.
I'm gonna Google something real quick.
Okay. I'm laughing because I laugh when I'm uncomfortable with something that somebody says. It's not because I think it's funny.
Let me.
This is jarring. I'm not gonna lie.
I could tell you all have no trauma because you are mentioning your parents abusing you in the comments. So this, it's difficult for me to understand how he's making this assessment. Seems like grossly overly broad. People do in fact talk about trauma. In fact, one of the most positive things about social media, I believe, is that people who are in traumatic and abusive relationships are speaking out and talking and can now see that this is not normal, and have like a community outside of like the people who are immediately around you physically in your physical community that you live in. But people can be immediately exposed to the world pretty much at their front door and see that this is abusive behavior and be given that language to identify it. Now, statistically speaking, I do believe trauma victims are less likely to talk about it. But it's more, if my understanding is correct, big block of salt, because I don't recall the research exactly. So this is just me talking. Don't take this as legitimate like statistic or something. I'll retract that. It may be like not talked about or delayed. I think delayed is the word, not like never talking about it ever and taking it to the grave, but probably delayed until ready to talk about it. But this does not mean like, this is not a correct way to do analysis. It may be that, first of all, people can in fact talk about trauma. Like, talking about trauma does not indicate that you are not traumatized. That's silly, stupid, and I don't know where he's
I think he's talking
from.
about specific type of trauma, because I think even when we talk about people not speaking about trauma or not being able to speak about trauma, it's a specific type of trauma that those people have gone through. And even when it comes to that, I think the only thing I can really closely relate it to is people talking about the I'm gonna call it, this is wrong because this is only for black holes, but the event horizon of the abuse, essentially, when the abuse is like, it's like a physical abuse that is extremely intense. People generally have a hard time talking about the step-by-step thing that happened during that time. It's not like they can't talk about like the whole thing. They just can't talk about the event horizon. Also, very wrong term for that, because that's about black holes. I just don't know what the event horizon for abuse is called.
But yeah, I disagree with him. Like, if I'm pretty sure therapy, for example, is a way that people who don't feel like they can't or don't talk about their trauma are able to confront something like that if they go to therapy, for example, for extended period of time, to be able to confront those feelings or that trauma and identify the best way to navigate life with it. But yeah, this seems like just flat out false. Well, I don't know what else to call it, but flat out false. Also, you can do a sort of, maybe you can do a statistical generalization about trauma victims, sure, about not speaking out or saying something about the trauma, maybe. Your comment section is not, or any TikToks that you're looking at or TikTok comment sections that you're looking at is not it's not a replacement for statistical research. Like, just because parents might be good parents, for example, doesn't mean that the parents in your comments are good parents. It could be that your specific type of content attracts shitty ass parents, and so your comments are a bunch of shitty ass parents. Like, there's a certain bias on your channel that will likely attract a certain type of audience. If you go over to Shira7's channel, you're going to see certain types of people who watch it, certain gender, certain, what's it called, who have certain beliefs and like share her beliefs and are exposed to her content and become more and more exposed to her content as their feed becomes curated to it. Now, if you go over to Kevin Samuel's Rest In whatever he in, because I hope it ain't peace. If you go over to his channel and look at the type of comments on his channel, you might find a very different type of demographic. If you go to conservative social media, you will see a different type of audience than you will if you go over to liberal media. So immediately, the idea that you can use your comment section, or rather people talking about children talking about trauma in your comment section as some type of indicator, seems like flagrantly incorrect of a way to do an analysis.
I think he's being very disingenuous on purpose.
He is.
I don't think he's serious at all.
No, he is. They believe we're gonna look at the parents, so I'm not gonna keep pausing this video too much.
You know what Broca's area is? It's the verbal process.
Yeah, but looking at the parents, I think will explain why I believe they are very serious and 100% believe this.
Processing part of your brain. So guess what happens when you actually have trauma? You don't talk about it on TikTok and you don't talk about it on Instagram. In fact, most people who have actually had that.
All right, well, this seems just blatantly false. So don't know why he said that, but that is in fact incorrect. Whether or not you have trauma is not determined by if you make a TikTok about it or don't. So
I think TikTok is an unhealthy place to talk about your trauma, but a lot of people talk about their traumas on TikTok. Like the girl who did the 50 video thingies about that guy that she got into a relationship that lied and everything. What was it called? Risa Tisa? That whole situation, that was extremely traumatic. Like, and she shared it out there. You can't tell me that's not traumatic. And there's a lot of people just sharing whatever is going on with their family members, you know, their jobs, all of that. Like, it's actually just insane to say things like that.
agreed.
I've actually had in my office, okay, who've actually been traumatized. I have to convince them that they have been traumatized. And the second thing is,
a lot of children who go no contact have for most of their life believe that they are not traumatized or abused. And it takes a significant amount of time and effort for them to open up to that idea. And sometimes really extensive therapy or analysis of what they've experienced as a child. Or sometimes in some cases, the parent is shitty all throughout their childhood and continue to be shitty as an adult until there's a threshold that's reached. The idea that no contact children have not experienced, not that I think that's even a criteria to be traumatized, by the way, is that you have to go through some long period of silence before talking about it, and you have to be convinced that you were traumatized, and that's how real trauma looks. But if that's the case, even by his own criteria, no contact children are having that same experience.
Mm-hmm.
is they don't even know how to talk about it. Okay, so that just basically gets rid of about 95% of you who talk so much about how traumatized you are. Bullshit. You weren't traumatized. It's called stress. It's called having a relationship with somebody that's trying to raise your ass when you're being a jerk. Okay? Listen.
Trying to raise your ass when you being a jerk. Nah, I gotta go find this man's board.
I don't think he's a real therapist. I'm sorry.
Like there were
This
sorry, I didn't we didn't get to this part yet. I'm not sure that we will today because we've been streaming for 3 hours and I meant for this to be very quick. But there were people in his comment section who were talking about how thankful they are, children specifically, about how thankful they are to have a therapist like him. Excuse me, they have a therapist in real life who's like him, and they were about to leave their abuser, but their therapist like asked them, I forgot the question, but the question was like, instead of trying to change him, why don't you try to change yourself? Instead of looking at what you could change about him, you could look at what you could change about yourself or something. And she was able to like hunker down and built the fortitude to put up with the abuse and try to rehabilitate her abuser or something like this. I do actually believe this is like quite dangerous, his entire channel, and I don't think we've even gotten to the worst opinions yet. Is like, I believe this to be unethical if he is licensed.
This is extremely unethical. I'm like, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot when it comes to this person. And I've never had like, I think sometimes I can say something once and it's like kind of over, right? But this feels very, I feel very concerned that he's he's somebody's therapist. And he's convincing victims to stay with the people that are traumatizing them. I think it's actually, he's like a public health risk, in my opinion. I don't know.
Oh, don't worry. They have like forms you can file. That's gonna be my like homework, I guess.
I'm gonna be active after this is what we're seeing.
Hear me out. Stop apologizing. It's called having a relationship with somebody that's trying to raise your ass when you're being a jerk. Okay?
And he's a family and marriage therapist. This is crazy. This man might actually be putting people in all types of danger or keeping them in like a traumatic relationship.
He's and like supporting the abusers in a way. I don't know. Okay. This feels really disgusting.
And again, he doesn't describe any behavior. So even abusive parents are, well, especially abusive parents are encompassed in this wide net that he casts.
Listen,
like he doesn't identify anything the child or the parent is doing. Just how we should feel about parents and children generally is the children are just throwing temper tantrums and giving their poor parents hell while the parents are trying their best and doing an amazing job. But every little disagreement that they have with their child is being called abuse. We don't have any details, just vague statements that completely cover parents and demonize children.
He's just being very intentionally vague about what he's saying, and I think that there's no part of me that thinks that he's not intentionally like, to me this feels like violence. Like this is, I don't know. I'm just at a loss for words right now. I can't even verbalize what I want to say.
I'm looking at the comments. One of the comments says, "What my kids have done to me was very traumatic. I don't think I'll ever allow them back in my life because of the damage done." Another says, "Same girl, I'm healed and moved on now. They'll never be allowed back in my mouth. I can forgive them." Wait, I thought he said that traumatized people don't talk about trauma. Why isn't he like opposing these parents and telling them they're not traumatized by their kids because they're talking about it? So it's impossible.
Well, they're parents, you know.
My bad.
You forgot about that part.
Stop apologizing when you did the best you could.
Again, not stop apologizing when you did a good or a great job. Stop apologizing as long as you did your best. Who cares if you failed or how fucked up your child is or how
or
poor
if you raise your
you
children in an unsafe environment. Like, this is ridiculous.
Stand up for yourself. Get a backbone. All right? Don't buy into this drama that you somehow abused or traumatized them when all you did was the very best that you possibly could. Good for you. I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. You were a good parent. And just because your kid is a coddled narcissist who doesn't appreciate you doesn't mean that you were a bad parent. You weren't. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we can make a determination about the children being narcissists and the parents are amazing. Why? Because
He's proud of them. The parents did a great job. They did the best that they did.
Because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at a parent. We need to get at least one parent before we continue.
If I ever to get told I'm proud of you by this person, I'm I'm eating myself to the sun.
Okay. We have a couple options. I'll let you guys. Oh my god.
Okay, do the one where where the lady was talking about her daughter, her daughter going no contact with her, and then she goes on to accuse her daughter of sleeping with her boyfriend, which
I've never heard about that.
I saw that a few weeks ago. It was crazy. But yeah, and she was trying to tell people that her daughter was trying to take her life and everything. Whole time the daughter had moved her to a whole nother state to help her and everything. And then the daughter went no contact again, and she was like, she went no contact with me again for no reason. And people were still on her side, and I was like, girl, go ahead.
Sorry, I have to send this text. Real critical, real important. They need to know I need napkins with my order.
Okay, if anybody else watched that lady, she was a white lady, and she looked like she was a crackhead, and she barely had teeth. Somebody please find her. I don't remember her name.
Okay, so we have a couple options, guys. I'll let you guys decide. Here's option number one. This lady. I hope that's big enough for y'all to see. All right. Option number two. This lady.
Wow, she got the Karen cut and everything.
Oh, I think those are our only options. This is just, she has two channels. Estranged and rearranged. So we want to go with option one, or we want to go with, option one or option two.
Which one of them has the more interesting voice?
They're both. They're both uninteresting in their voice, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Let's start with this one. Estranged grandparents, is this child abuse? This should be good.
Adult children who
child abuse. Let's see what they call child abuse.
Remove their children from adult children who remove their children from their parents' lives. Hate their parents so much that they're willing to hurt their own children. But let's talk a little bit about what the grandchildren lose, because this is not about us grandparents sitting here talking about the rights that we have or don't have, or the control that we're accused of trying to have over our children and our grandchildren. This is about the grandchildren too. The idea that you can take a grandchild away from their family and think that it's not going to affect them is actually ludicrous. A loving grandparent is a living piece of a child's history, especially if you've allowed them to be in their grandparents' life for years. And we're talking older kids who know what love is, know what connection is, and have been allowed to make that grandchild connection. The grandchildren lose too. They lose people, they lose stories, they lose family history, they lose pictures, they lose a chance to hear about where they came from. They lose access to a part of them, actually. A part of them is cut off, removed, end of story. And some of those kids aren't old enough to even understand it. And some of them are, and when they're asked, they're told who knows what about why they no longer get to see their grandparents. And that is, in my opinion, abuse. Adult children who remove their children from their...
Okay, your no contact child who's now making her kids no contact with you too. Well, it can't be no contact child, because if you have a relationship with the grandchildren, I assume there has to be some type of interaction. But like your child not letting you see their child is abuse. This is what you refer to as abuse.
I don't think so. I think that if you, as a person who is a parent to a child, know that in your parents' household there would be abuse towards your children, you shouldn't be bringing your kids over to your parent, and that's my opinion.
That's mine as well. Like somebody said, yeah, there's two sets of grandparents. We let them see the good set. Period. You have a legal obligation to protect your kids from abuse. Sometimes the kids don't want to see you either. Like it's not just the parents, by the way. Sometimes them kids don't like you.
Like
It's hard for me.
I only saw from my biological father's side, I only saw one like growing up, I only really interacted with one of his aunts, which is like in my culture, like his aunt would be my grandma, and one of his uncles. Hold on a second. So like I think I was fine with that. I didn't I didn't need his parents.
Sorry, I was reading some of the comments because I'm messy. Your kids weaponized. Wait. Oh, she's made more than one video on specifically children weaponizing
It's hard for me.
grandkids. Oh, period.
It's hard for me to accept the fact that my little granddaughter had no control over her, no contact with me now, that her dad, because he was angry with me and one of his siblings, decided that because he couldn't have a relationship with us, she also was no longer able to have a relationship. We're talking about children losing.
Wait, I'm confused. Your son and one of his siblings, so like your other son or daughter? Let me re-listen.
It's hard for me to accept the fact that my little granddaughter had no control over her, no contact with me now, that her dad, because he was angry with me and one of his siblings, decided that because he couldn't have a relationship.
Okay, so her child is angry with her and angry with another one of her children or his brother or sister. Okay, got it.
With us. She also
sided with somebody that did something that was atrocious, and the son was like, "You're not going to be around my child when you're bringing that person around my kid."
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure she'll give us many very specific and very specific details about what happened so that we can make our own determination without just vague statements.
No longer able to have a relationship. We're talking about children losing grandparents, cousins, family stories, traditions. We're losing generations. If you think about the numbers that I've talked about earlier, and you think about the sheer
we lose the recipes
amount of families being affected by estrangement and the number of children being affected by this, logically think about how that's going to affect future generations.
Well, let's talk about logically how it affects them. What does the research say about children who go no contact or are estranged from the family, and what the effects are on them? Do they do better? Do they do worse? We didn't watch it, but the therapist who we were just watching also made a video about how when you go no contact because you're going no contact because you always feel anxious from your parent or judged or blah, 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 blah. He says that the anxiety is something you need to get over, and you need to like create a better exterior to be able to deal with whatever, not trauma, because you ain't gonna call it that, but whatever grievance you have that's causing you to be anxious with your parent. Wait a minute. Sorry, hold up.
I think I'm mentally more fine with being non-contact than when I am in contact, if that makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. I think I tried to talk to my biological father because people were like, oh, because I come from a religious background, and everybody's like, oh, because you can't cut off family. Cutting off family means you're gonna go to hell and all of that cute stuff. And I was like, to be honest, if I ever have to be in complete contact with my biological Voldemort, I would rather just be in hell.
I lost my train of thought. I think I was like, wait, why am I saying this? Like, I know what I was talking about. He brings up anxiety because he believes that you having this like terrible relationship and feeling disgusted by your parents and terrible every time you're around them is like actually natural and you need to like get over it or something like that. But I forgot what I was relating that to.
Being being
Trying to think.
affected by estrangement and the number of children being affected by this. Logically, think about how.
Oh, we were talking about what are the effects on children. That's why I was bringing it up, because one of the things he was talking about was that anxiety. And like, okay, if we have children who feel like shitty every time that they're in contact with their parents, dread going to a family event if they know their parents are going to be there, worry if their parents are going to show up to their door and knock, or keep texting and calling and ignoring their boundary. Like, if you have like this really terrible relationship with your parent and you go no contact with them, what is the effect of that? Like, not like as a legitimate question of the research or psychological analysis of this, like, can we look to what the psychology of this phenomenon is? Like, what is the effect psychologically on a child? Is it good? Is it bad? Because I think it's good. Like, if
Yeah,
you're
I
constantly
personally think it's good.
suffering in a relationship and you cut it off, I need to understand why people are like talking about, we need to talk about the effect of estrangement, and then don't mention like the effects, like the legitimate effects.
How that's going to affect future generations. I made a comment in my last video that said adult children who use their children as weapons against their
Use children as weapon. That sounds familiar. She won't let me see my kids. Period.
grandchildren against their parents, hate their parents more than
Weaponizing the children, and it's just you being a shitty grandparent and parent, and
That's
them
what I'm
not
saying.
wanting their child to be around an abuser. Got it.
they love their own children. Woo wee, did people hate me for that one? They don't like that comment, but it's true. It's very true. When you have allowed, or when estranged adult children have allowed their children to have a connection with their parents, their grandparents, and that connection was positive, loving, kind, the way that grandparents and grandchildren are supposed to be, and then
Are you going to define caring? Are you going to define any behaviors that you were doing so we can make a determination ourselves about what happened and not just rely on your vague, oh, I was doing so good, I was being so positive and so amazing and enriching relationship with them? Like, can we know what's happening? Like, can we get any details at all at any point during the day about what happened, what behavior, what event?
You know she was doing something wrong because she's not mentioning what she did.
None of them do. None of these
Like-
channels mention any specific behavior. They
if you
mention,
can't be specific, then you're wrong.
like, they make up stuff. Oh, just because, let me see. What did the guy earlier say? I forgot, but one of them was like, oh, just because they're mad at you just because you told them no, because you told them to go to their room, or because you didn't agree with everything they said. Like, they make up imaginary scenarios that did not happen and use these as like the reasons why the child did something. They don't actually like list or define what actually happened, like some legitimate reasons people have done this outside of their imagination.
I can tell you how people minimize my situation, and I think what happened between me and my biological father is actually really insane. But how people minimize that entire situation is, I stopped talking to my biological father when I was 6, because of something that he did to me specifically. It was not like, I just want to clarify, it wasn't sexual or anything like that, because some people assume it's sexual. But I was treated different from the rest of his kids, and I was the oldest one of his children. But he had a second wife because him and my mom had a divorce, and he was still mad about the divorce. So what he did was, he would tell his wife to physically abuse me. And then he would also, like, if she did everything that he said, if he told her to jump 5 times, she would literally do it. And it was one of the things that he would like laugh about and show people when they came over or whatever, because his wife was so obedient. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing about
Not
that.
obedient.
Yeah. So like he had bought shoes for, like, we have there's a specific holiday in my culture where you buy new clothes, and you buy like candy for kids. It's a whole celebration of like just celebrating the children that you have. Out of all of his children, I was the only person that was left out of that celebration on his side. And I felt very slighted, and I was like, and the one thing that made me realize that one year, because it wasn't just the first year that happened, this was the second year that happened. And what I realized in that year was, because he bought shoes for everybody, right? And he bought clothes for everybody, and there was one pair of shoes that fit nobody but me, because I had the smallest feet and the shoes were too small for the smallest kid. He tried it on everybody there, including the neighbor's kids, before he tried it on me. And then the neighbor basically shamed him into giving it to me. And then after that happened, the next day he sent his wife to take the shoes from me. And I was like, oh, you hate me that much as a 6-year-old? And I held grudges as a 6-year-old. So I was like, oh, okay, bet. I'm never coming over to your house. I'm never making you look nice by making you seem like I don't know. Like for me, I was like, you're never gonna see me if I have something to say about it, or if I even exist. Like if you're gonna see me, it would be a dead body of mine. That's the type of child I was. So I avoided him like the freaking plague until we came to the United States, and even after that, I just never spoke to him. And people literally categorize that as, your mom told you that you shouldn't like your father because of that situation. I'm like, I just didn't like him because of that situation. And people are like, oh, well, he just took the shoes from you. Oh, he didn't buy you things. That sometimes parents have a lot of kids. And I'm like, I don't care. If you have 15 kids, if you can't buy them things and you can't take care of them, that's a you problem. You should be finding a way to buy those things. I don't know what you're doing, what you have to do. You just find a way, or there's no way. Like my mom found a way. My mom worked as a doctor. She worked as an engineer. She did everything. Like my mom was a police officer. At one point, she was a doctor and a police officer. Like she did everything that she could to provide for not just her kids, but all of her siblings. And she had like 14 siblings. So therefore, I wasn't going to try to hear that about a grown man. And people are like, oh, he was mad at your mom. I'm like, I don't care what he had going on with my mom. Like, that's my mom. That's not me. Like, yeah.
It sounds like you got firsthand experience with these estranged parents.
And he's cut off. And I hope he dies of cancer. I'm just kidding.
I saw a video about that, but we won't get into it now. About wishing somebody dad would die from cancer, or why my good dad died from cancer. Take one of these bad dads. With that being said, we are over the time that I wanted to stream to, so I do apologize, but I will have to cut this short. I'll play the outro, and then we can have like a brief after show.
I agree. May he rest in Hades. That's too good.
I couldn't sleep by 8 p.m. and send a text to your DM. Couldn't sleep by 8 p.m.
And then sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off with the intro.
No, it's okay.
I clicked it. Wow. But it was anyway. The lack of AC is also starting to now at this point too. So like we passed the point of me noticing the AC is not on. So it's gonna have to come on immediately after I click the end stream button. It's gonna have to, and there's no other option. Also, be sure, if you haven't already, to like the video. It was nice to see you all again. I was planning to stream either this Tuesday or Thursday. I was looking at Tuesday as the better ideal time. This was just supposed to be like dipping our toes into the topic and watching a video or two, not necessarily like a 3-hour stream. Apologies. But those videos are just supposed to be jump offs that we can use as a sort of illustration to coincide with some research. There is actually a lot of research around estranged parents and the effect on children, which, as you know, is generally good, if my understanding of the research is correct. And unlike what these parents are saying, no contact is not generally done over like a small reason. It's not generally done overnight. It is not generally done because a child is watching a TikTok trend, and a TikTok trend convinces a child who you've done nothing but pour love and affection in for decades that they are suddenly being abused, and they've been convinced by some TikToks that they watched. It is not therapists brainwashing the child into categorizing normal behavior as abuse. It is not a child throwing a temper tantrum over you, telling them to go to their room. It is a very serious and long, drawn out process of a child usually trying to make several attempts to reconcile the relationship with their parent after some egregious behavior. Like usually they keep mentioning it's not abuse, it's not abuse. Even in cases where there is not abuse, usually there's like a long, well, I guess I would refer to that as abuse, but like there's like a long list of minor things that add up over the years, and continue to pile up, especially without being addressed. It's a very serious decision. It's not a decision that children take lightly. And I wanted to compare the research to what the parents and the therapists are saying and try to identify why it is that estranged parents and no contact children have a really, really different retelling of the same experience. And part of it, I think, was going to be about, we were going to look at MAGA and Trump supporters and political differences, the manosphere, because a lot of their behavior is very consistent with abusive behavior that we've seen before, as well as, even if not abusive, like just kind of terrible behavior that we've seen from people. Like a lot of them mentioned that something happened overnight, but like I just said, this is a really long, drawn out process. When someone says the divorce came out of nowhere, we know that the divorce did not come out of nowhere. We know that an issue was likely brought up. It was probably brought up multiple times, and that issue was probably neglected by whoever was broken up with. It was probably dismissed, or it was minimized as something that's not important. And that issue, along with other issues, probably continue to pile up over a long period of time while your partner's trying to reconcile these issues with you and continuously bring them up. And then when the partner leaves, suddenly the divorce came out of nowhere and with no warning. And while we might have one person saying that there were plenty of warnings over years and years and plenty of attempts to reconcile this, the other person is saying that there were no such warning and it was sudden, because as you've heard from the therapist, and I don't know if the parents said this so much, but as you heard from the therapist, they refer to these really, really serious allegations from children and these really, really serious decisions to go no contact as something as small as you throwing a tantrum because your parent told you not to slam the door in the house. So when you have one person who views this very egregious behavior as something so little and so small and so minimized, that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing the parents have this like shocking feeling of how this just happened overnight and how good of a parent they are, especially when you have the therapist and other people like him coddling parents on TikTok and telling them that they're not abusive, they're not narcissistic, it's your child that's the problem, they're being hypnotized and manipulated by TikToks that are telling them that they're abused and blah 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 blah. So I was hoping to tie all of that in with the research, as well as these sort of branches off of the main tree that I believe are very, very related, but there's simply not time to do that today. Hopefully we can do that on Tuesday or Thursday, when I have my completed.
I could do more research on it. On Tuesday, I am getting a tooth something. So I might not be able to talk.
A tooth extraction or excision.
Yeah, it's like they have to go inside my tooth for something. I have no idea.
Oh, I don't think that's what I don't think what I said was it then.
No, oh no, it's root canal. Root canal. Just
Oh.
look it up. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk.
Well, I hope they put you under. I don't think I could do that. Oh, actually, I went to a dentist in the town I live in now for the first time, in this city specifically, since I had to establish care with someone to pick up my general cleanings since my new insurance don't cover my old place. And like, let me tell you, she did give like a numbing shot, so that was part of it. But like, I felt absolutely no pain during the thing, and I was like, oh, okay, there's actually a correct way to do these procedures on teeth where you don't feel pain, maybe like pressure. And like, I've just been going to like terrible dentists all my life, apparently.
Oh my god, you've been going to people that make you feel pain. See, I be getting up. Like I'm the type of person where if I feel pain, I'm gone. Like you'll never ever see me again, and I will literally say it. I'll be like I've as when I was a kid, we went to this dentist called Dental Dreams, and I remember I felt pain the first time they touched me, and and my parents couldn't get me to go back, and then we went to a place called Small Smiles. Because I got up during the thing and they were like, you can't get up because we have to finish the procedure. I was like, you're not finishing nothing. I'm going home.
Period. Welcome, Jamal. I saw you late. I don't know if you came in earlier, but I did see Alicia. So are y'all on TV? Do y'all like watch on the same TV, or do y'all like go in separate rooms and y'all have like y'all own phone in separate rooms, or do y'all both watch on your phone but like in the same room, like laying on the bed chilling? But then that would like the audio would overlap, so maybe like just
what you do is you mute on one person's phone and you both watch.
Oh, for 2 views. That's sweet.
Yeah. I do that with my sister. She's literally in the room right now.
Melian. Oh, nice to see you, by the way.
At 6. Oh yeah, I was just hard-headed. I'm one of those I was just very hard-headed.
No need to be concerned, everyone. Everything is fine. There's no war in Boston, say, and all that good stuff. With that said, let me see if I have a meme or two. Y'all know I haven't been having memes lately because, as you can see, in this administration, ain't shit funny. Ain't shit funny right now. I haven't seen not a funny post in a long time. All I see is politics everywhere. Oh, I can do that thing. That one guy. I remember him. Here, let me put him on. This is not a meme. This was just something I found funny.
You said state-run dental care. Does that mean we have to watch out for state-run dental care? How do you know if a dentist is state-run?
I didn't know there were state-run dentists.
I'm about to make a whole X list.
It's just an S on the end, right? It's dentist.
It's dentist.
And what a silly word. Why would you put an S at the end of that already difficult word for people with lisps? People who talk funny. Silly, just silly.
And that's why I skip people's names. I have people whose names I just skip the words of.
So it's a very important game tomorrow. How are you going to play against Paris tomorrow?
Very erotic voice, by the way. Translator. Congratulations. Wow. Which again, please.
So it's a very important game tomorrow. How are you going to play against Paris tomorrow?
I looked up the announcer. I don't have his name on hand, but he talks like that in like every single video. That's how he talks. Like he's a sports announcer. I went to his other
doing stuff
or a radio host or something, but I went to his other stuff. He has a profile on Instagram, I'm pretty sure. And that's just how he talks. Some people are just blessed, not lucky, blessed. Yes. Young Money raised me. All right. I think that's it.
Yeah, it was good having you back. I miss disregarding my homework to come talk here.
Your homeroom? Oh, your homework.
Yeah.
Thought you was in class.
Oh, no.
All right, kids, sit down. Prince Petty on. Well, thank you for joining. I do appreciate that. Thank you for, sorry, I was looking at the state-run insurance, and they did explain. That smile is
Yeah.
smiling. Yeah, people would talk about that smile. But thank you everyone for joining. Be sure to leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are not. Let's see what the analytics say. Let's see
If
what
you
the
didn't
analytics
like,
say.
just know that that's it. You better like.
Oh, are there
Because I'm here.
there
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna let my conceitedness get
I
in the
think
way.
I think ads might have been on. I do apologize. Usually they're supposed to be on for the after stream. If you guys ever see ads when we're live streaming, be sure to just leave a quick comment or something and say, hey, ads are on, and then I can turn them off for the stream. But you shouldn't be getting ads during the live stream unless you're watching it after it's already ended. So just let me know, and then I can turn them off, and then you can refresh. But it looks like they are on, but they're on low frequency, so maybe nobody got any. So I do apologize. Let's see let's see who subscribed. Oh, it doesn't tell me this time. Okay, well, no shaming now. I don't get to shame anyone this time. Y'all got away this time. All right. With that being said, I will see you guys on Tuesday or Thursday with a more thorough analysis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please do stay for the outro.